Okay, hello everybody. I do believe we are live. Thank you so much for dropping by the Cobwebs channel and this live hangout that we are doing tonight. I'm really excited about this one. If you are here, and I see we've got quite a few people in here already, please say hello in the chat. We've already got a few people that I'm going to move over and say hi to. So thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate it. We got Ben in the house drinking RC Cola and Royal Crown Cola. Okay, very much. We got Vanderhoff in the house. Thank you so much, man. Really appreciate that. We got Dapper Dave. He's very dapper. I want to know if Daniel bought any obscure horror flicks during the Vinegar Syndrome halfway to Black Friday sale. That is a question. So that is the first question of the night. So let me just go ahead and explain what we're doing here today. So it's just going to be like a hangout like my live streams usually are. You can ask me any questions you want. And also I've got an activity plan. That's something that I'm kind of enjoying doing lately. Like when I do a live stream, yeah, it's a hangout. Yeah, you can ask me questions. We'll talk about what you want to talk about. But I've been trying to think of some activities. And today I'm going to react to some articles counting down some horror movies. Now, I'm not going to be like reacting to lists from like other YouTube channels that are in my space or anything like that. But I noticed there are some big websites that put out articles like 20 scariest horror movies you've never seen or 20 best horror movies you've never seen. It seems kind of common. And I thought, well, let me look at some of these on a live stream and just kind of look at them with everybody and just see, have I seen these? Do I think they belong on a list like this? Are they actually obscure enough? I thought that might be a fun thing to do. So that's basically the agenda for the night. But real quick, Dapper Dave does want to know about the Vinegar Syndrome sale. I did not buy anything. I know that's probably crazy. Look, right now, since I went full-time on the YouTube channel, I'm just on a tighter budget. I'm just trying to be like more careful. Like before when I was doing the YouTube and a full-time job, I was like, whatever, I don't really care. But we're trying to stick to a budget right now. So I'm trying not to spend as much. But there were a couple of things that I did definitely want. Like I wanted the Dirty Work 4K. Dirty Work's one of the funniest comedies I've ever seen. And I wanted the Dark Half 4K because I love the Dark Half. But I put both of those in my cart and went to checkout. It was like $100. Like they are getting so expensive. The whole physical media hobby is just getting way more expensive than it used to be back when I was into it. So I've been kind of just backing a little bit away from physical media because it's so high priced, it's ridiculous. But I still do really want Dirty Work and the Dark Half, so I might try to get those at some point. And I kind of want Let's Scare Jessica to Death too. That is also a good movie. We got William Martin. That's right, William. And thank you so much for dropping by. And we've got William's reviews. I'm going to assume these are different Williams, but we got two Williams here, so I appreciate that. Thank you so much for dropping in, man. Let's see. Night of the Lepus. Heck yes, I've seen Night of the Lepus. I actually talked about it in my second bonkers horror video that I did this year. This year I have done 4 videos counting down like bonkers horror movies. The second one I did, I started with Night of the Lepus. So that's one I bought. That's when I blind bought the Scream Factory Blu-ray. It's on that shelf right back there. It's not good. It's kind of enjoyable in that, 70s way to where most 70s things are enjoyable. And it's got Janet Leigh and it's got DeForest Kelly, Dr. McCoy. So, it's a little enjoyable for me, but it's definitely not good. It's for anyone who doesn't know, it is a killer little bunny rabbit horror movie. Hello again, Ben. We got Anthony. Thank you so much for dropping in, man. Hello, Christine. Oh, man. Oh, Christine. Yes, bring her back. It is gross. I saw it. I went to see it opening night, and it was like a traumatic experience. I haven't seen anything like that in a long time. I went to see it with my buddy Chris, and we were like losing it on the way home. We had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun because it's a very disgusting, disturbing, sad, and upsetting horror movie. And we were just sitting there like looking over at each other and like looking at things through fingers. And then we were just like laughing and howling on the way home. Like you ever watch like a really messed up movie with a friend and then you're just kind of laughing about it afterwards, you're like giving each other therapy over it. That was kind of Bring Her Back. Funny thing is the video I have coming Sunday, I will be talking about Bring Her Back. It's not a movie that I like recommend. You have to, unless you want something really, really messed up. But it's interesting. It's an interesting movie for sure, man. Hello, Night Owl in the Moon. Thank you for dropping in. Yo, we got the Gen X Grandpa. Gen X Grandpa is a patron. So thank you so much for dropping in, man. I super appreciate that. Let's see. Much love from Canada. Hello, Charlotte. Thank you so much. Paloma came here from watching Sleepaway Camp 1, 2, and 3 all for the first time. Wow, what a trip. I kind of love Redacted, even though Redacted is an insane maniacal killer. Oh, absolutely. You gotta love that person, for sure. I've actually never seen Sleepaway Camp 3, funny enough. I saw the second one, like it's fun in that kind of way, but it's certainly not a great movie. I think the first one is like kind of is a great movie. I do love the first one, but I do need to check that third one out. You know, for some reason, Spaceball, I've not done like a top Vincent Price movies. I talked about a lot of Vincent Price movies on the channel. I think, I don't know. I don't know why I haven't done it yet. I need to because I adore Vincent Price. He's one of my top actors. Hey, thanks, man. We got Fachi from Fachi Cinema. I saw that you messaged me on Instagram, by the way, but I haven't gone in and checked it yet. But I will go in and check that out. So thanks, man. Binging it while working. Thanks, dude. That means a lot. That's the bread and butter of YouTube, you know, like what keeps YouTube channels going? It's not people sitting on the couch and watching. It's people like listening while they're doing other things, while they're at work or something. Like the YouTube channel that I probably give the most ad revenue to is a channel that I like to have on in the background while I edit, you know? Let's see. Oh, I wouldn't have a face-off with Kanan. I think I would just have a love fest with Kanan from Ghost Pirate Entertainment. I love Ghost Pirate. And I had no idea he knew who I was, but he messaged me on Twitter/X a couple of weeks ago or something, and we talked a little bit. He's super nice. I'm a big fan of his channel. He seems like a great guy. Yeah, that happens for sure. I've had many a Vinegar Syndrome sale where I've done that. And I might put in a hefty order for the subscriber week sale. That'll be the first week of July. That's when they really mark stuff down. That maybe because I'm getting the itch to get some more Vinegar Syndrome. So that might be what I do. Do you think you'll reach 100,000 subs by the end of the year? It's possible. The channel's been growing. Let's see. The channel's growing like an average of like 4,000 subscribers a month. So I got 6 more months. 6 times 4, 20. So probably not quite unless I hit like a big spike around Halloween, which is possible. So maybe. I don't know. That'd be pretty insane, though. That would be absolutely crazy. Oh, it was released today. That's crazy. Love that movie. Yes, it is. Oh, we got my boy, Elric. It's not his real name, but he shall remain nameless. My best friend since high school. His son is Seb. They're tuning in. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. One thing I did want to say also, and I almost feel weird saying it, but maybe it's a little bit interesting. So I didn't even notice this, but my wife pointed it out to me because she watches my live streams. She doesn't watch my videos, but she watches my live streams. Then my last 2 live streams, I never got any super chats. Which is just unusual. I didn't even notice it at the time, but every live stream I've ever done, like a few super chats come in. I thought, you're right. That's kind of weird. And I looked and super chats were totally turned off. And what I figured out happened is after the channel was hacked and shut down and then brought back, a lot of settings just defaulted back to whatever. So all kind of super chat options got turned off. So that hasn't even been an option for the past 2 streams, but I believe it is an option now. So if you do want your question like bumped way up and I can get to it right away, feel free to throw in a super chat. Otherwise, totally cool. I just wanted to throw that out there as an option. Let's see. We successfully finished union bargaining today. This is a great way to de-stress from the last few days. Oh, like you're in a union and you're like bargaining like about a strike or something. Oh, wow. Interesting. That's important work. Good for you. Get those rights. You're probably glad you bought as much as you did in the day. Yeah, exactly. For sure. I have a lot. I still have more Vinegar Syndromes that I need to watch. So it's not as if I'm starving on new Vinegar Syndrome checkout. I still got some. Gory Tiger. Hello. Thank you so much for dropping in. I haven't seen Seed People. I actually seriously considered watching that for my last Tubi video because it's on Tubi. I do want to watch it, though. I believe it's a full moon movie, and it looks fun. And my buddy Garrett from Born to Be Rad, I know he really likes it. So I want to check it out. Thank you so much, Paloma. Oh, that's great. That's my favorite thing that I hear, that the videos are comforting and cozy. People tell me that a lot, and I appreciate that. Because, you know, there are a lot of YouTube, there are other horror channels that are just like, hell yeah, blood and guts, blah, blah, blah. But I appreciate that people find my channel relaxing. I think that's nice. Hello, Dawn. Let's see. My dad loves the movie night Olympus because it's completely nuts. Oh, I don't know what that is. Interesting, interesting. Let's see. You have the closet collection that rivals mine. Let's see others like me. Yeah, it's not as big as a lot of people though. I'll tell you that for sure. Oh wait. Oh, okay. You're correct. That was a tiny typo. I knew what you meant. No worries. Watch Host for the first time this week. Yeah, that's funny. I've never seen Host. I'm pretty sure I've seen part of Host at one point. I don't know why, but I've not actually seen the whole thing. That's a Bong Joon-ho movie, so I definitely should see it. Watch The Cleansing Hour, and that was really something. I don't know The Cleansing Hour. That's interesting. Doom Asylum. I need to. Doom Asylum has been a running joke between my buddy Chris and I for years because I actually bought him Doom Asylum because we always thought it looked so crazy, and I like gave it to him for a present, and we still haven't watched it. We really need to. Oh man, oh man. Let's see. Oh, okay. Wild Bullfrog is older than Crypt Keeper. You are a patron, and I'm pretty sure the video coming out on Sunday is your shout out video. So I'll be shouting you out at the end of that video. So thank you so much for being here. I super appreciate it. Fell asleep during Bring Her Back, and then woke up during the situation. Boy, should have gone down and sit in the car. See, I don't even know which situation you mean because there's a lot of situations with that kid. Yeah, it's a traumatizing movie. It's a lot. Hello, Brian, a Hammer fan in Mississippi, down south. That's awesome. Thank you for dropping in. 2015 movie Atroz, or the 1988 movie Necromantic. They're supposed to be really disturbing. No and no. I'm really not a disturbing horror guy. So I don't really seek out movies like that very often. Necromantic, I know quite a bit about it, and I don't think it's something I want to see. Atroz, I don't know anything about. Yeah, I mean, Halloween 2, I've given many more watches. So that one really, like, that was a gradual over time thing. I just came to love it over time. So I've loved it for years now. But Dog Soldiers, yes, I just did rewatch. I've been meaning to give that a rewatch for a long time because I just saw it once many years ago. Didn't think it was that great. And I had no idea how much people loved it. Like, I really did not know what a modern classic it was. And then, yeah. Yeah, and then I got so many comments about it, and it was just absolutely wild. I was trying to figure out something with StreamYard. Okay, there we go. Oh, I lost my place. There we go. Shaw Brothers movie, Seeding of a Ghost. I do like Shaw Brothers. I've never seen Seeding of a Ghost. I'm not sure if I've seen any Shaw Brothers horror movies. I don't think so, but I do like Shaw Brothers action movies. The Passion of Darkly Noon. Okay, let me make note of that real quick. Oh, it has Brendan Fraser? Oh, interesting. Oh, it's about a guy that's in a cult. Okay, thank you for shouting that out. I'll have to look into that. That sounds interesting. Let's see. Here we go. Yeah. Oh, heck yes, I am. Absolutely. I love those. So those are free streaming services if you have a library card, and you should have a library card. Support your local library. And yeah, you can just, as long as you just have a library, you can just watch that for free there, and it's great. Like I noticed, the Vortilac came to Canopy long before it came to other streaming services. So yeah, you can get a lot of cool stuff on there, and yes, I use them when I can. That's true. Yeah, all the Sleepaway Camp movies are on Tubi right now for free. Yo, Jaden, thank you so much. Yes, I'm glad you saw that. I didn't know if you'd seen that yet. Yeah, man, that 70s Czech Beauty and the Beast movie, just amazing. And I found out afterwards that that's actually in Severin's second folk horror box set. They're like All the Haunts Be Yours, I think they called it, and that's in there. So that would be great because that movie's not officially available on streaming. I didn't realize it was available on physical media at all, but the only way is through that Severin box set. So I was just able to just find it, just post it on some website, and the quality was fine, but it would be cool to watch that on Blu-ray for sure. That's good. You should still want that. Absolutely. Let's see. Oh, The Ninth Heart. Oh, okay. Cool. Thanks, man. Hey, Mark, thank you so much for dropping in. By the way, Mark, I'm pretty sure I watched one of your recommendations today because I posted in my Patreon that I'm working on a certain list. It's going to come out next week, and I was asking any recommendations for that. And I'm pretty sure, Mark, you're the one that told me about Warning Sign from 1985, movie I'd never heard of before, but I watched it today. Really good. Really good. I can't believe that's a movie that's like kind of just fallen off now. I never hear it ever talked about, but that's a good 80s horror movie. Yeah, Paul Naschy's Howl of the Devil. It's totally bonkers. I think it's on Tubi. Yeah, I own that movie. I have it on Blu-ray, but I have not watched it yet. Yeah, I need to check that out. I've heard actually really good things about that one. Horror bingo cards, and one square that comes out often is Bigfoot. Best Bigfoot cryptid horror movies. My favorite Bigfoot movie is The Creature from Black Lake. It's from the 70s. You know, one of the more famous Bigfoot movies is The Legend of Boggy Creek. And that movie is interesting, but it's not really like a traditional movie with like a story and characters and stuff. And Legend of Boggy Creek is kind of like that, except more as a traditional movie. And it's got story and characters and pretty good representation of Bigfoot. And it's just a good movie. I really like it. But there's a lot of Bigfoot movies I haven't seen. Like there's a lot of modern found footage Bigfoot movies these days, and I haven't seen any of those. Hello, man. Thank you so much for dropping in. Yes, they are. Hint, hint. I'm not sure what the hint, hint is. You know what's funny? I've not seen The Town of the Dreaded Sundown or the remake, and that's always one of those things on my list that I was like, I got to get to those movies, and I just haven't yet. So that's got to happen soon. Hey, Matt, thank you so much. Oh, I'm so glad you're able to be here too. Thank you very, very much. How deep is your to be watched pile? I don't know because I mean I don't make it a pile or anything. It's just kind of something in my head of like all these movies I have to see. I mean these days my movie watching is pretty much dictated by whatever videos I'm planning on doing. So you know I'm planning the video that's coming out on Sunday is on like inspired by Bring Her Back is just kind of like particularly scary, messed up horror movies that I actually do like. So Bring Her Back is one of those, and I watched a lot of or rewatched a lot of movies like that over the past week. Then I'm working on next week's list, which is kind of inspired by 28 Years Later coming out. So I'm starting to watch some movies like that, like Warning Sign. So my movie watching is very structured at this point. It really just has to be by necessity. Yo, we got my buddy Chris, who I've already shouted out like 6 times on here, I think. Thanks for coming over, man. You got physical media gripes. Oh no. I'm working on my 10 anthology horrors. What's one I gotta see? Oh man, well, I know you've seen a lot of my favorites, so I'm trying to think of one you maybe haven't seen. I mean, I know you're anti-Amicus. My buddy Chris likes to make fun of Amicus. I don't know if he's ever even seen an Amicus movie, but watch Tales from the Crypt, man. Just watch Tales from the Crypt. That one's got to be on there. And I'm trying to think of something non-Amicus that I really like. I mean, a lot of the ones I can think of, I know you've seen. Oh, I don't think you've seen the Mortuary Collection. That's a brand new one. Check out the Mortuary Collection. Yeah, people keep telling me also to do my like top anthology horror movies, and I can't believe I haven't done it yet. It's kind of shocking because I've done a ton of deep dive reviews on anthology horrors, but yeah, I need to do that. That one I've not seen, and it's actually one I seriously considered watching for the last Tubi list, but then I watched something else instead. But one reason I also didn't watch it is I thought, well, I might want to do a carnival horror movies list, so I might save it for that. So I might do that. Hello, Spooch. Spooch123. I like that name. That's fun. Have you seen a creepy little 1945 movie called Isle of the Dead starring Boris Karloff? It's neat. Man, funny you mentioned that. No, it's one of the few Val Lewton movies I haven't seen. It might be the only one at this point because I didn't really binge the Val Lewton movies. I've been kind of chipping them off one by one, kind of savoring them. I think that's the last one that I have to watch. But it's funny that you mention it because I was thinking about watching it soon because I'll just tell you, next week I'm going to do a list on infection horror movies, kind of inspired by 28 Days Later, 28 Years Later coming out. That's definitely what Warning Sign fits into. And Isle of the Dead, I think, fits in that, like a disease-themed horror film. So I was thinking I might watch it soon. Oh, man. Lots and lots of comments to go through here. Let's see. Thank you, Brian. Hello to Massachusetts. Man, you're in Massachusetts. You know all about autumnal. New England is that's the epicenter of cozy autumn vibes. Thank you, madam. I very much appreciate it. That's awesome. Yeah, that's one that I've always meant to see. That one's not like officially available. Very hard to find for some reason, but I need to find a way to watch it. Oh, cool. That's great. That's great. Yeah, you guys are gonna think I'm horrible, and I'm sorry about this, but it was literally yesterday I realized, oh, this week is Friday the 13th, and apparently it is the only Friday the 13th in 2025. Big deal. I don't have any Friday the 13th content planned, so I'm sorry, guys. I didn't realize it until yesterday. Let's see. I don't think I've heard of Paul Naschy's The Night of the Executioner. Interesting. I know he has a movie in which he plays the Inquisitioner. I think it's just called Inquisition. But I'm not from, so I don't know if that's an alternate title. But no, I don't think I know that one. Let's see. Thoughts on a top favorite horror list of all time? Yeah, my plan is so I'm very slowly going through like my decades lists. So the last one I did was like top horror movies of the 80s. I need to do the 90s, and then I need to do 2000s and then 2010s, and then I thought after that I'll do a top of all time. I was thinking I might make it a big deal and like maybe do it like a top 50 horror movies of all time ranked, something like that. But yeah, I need to get to that. Yeah, you know what's I don't know how to pronounce that name, so I'm not going to say it, but people can see it on screen. I own that movie. It's like over there, and I have not watched it yet, so I need to. I have seen Dead of Night from the 40s at least a couple of times. That's an anthology, which I like. I do, even though I absolutely hate this title. Sorry, not title. I absolutely hate this word. I almost feel like it's slightly overrated because people really talk about like how amazing it is. And I just don't feel like it is. I feel like the last segment is amazing with the ventriloquist dummy. But most of the segments are a little more okay. So I don't love it. I feel like Amicus really perfected what they were trying to do. But that's just my opinion because that's a very respected movie. Mr. Frost with Jeff Goldblum's a good horror film. I don't think I know that one. Interesting. You probably already saw it, but your love for rom-com. Oh, Spontaneous. I have seen Spontaneous. I didn't like it as much as everybody else. I don't know. It's like maybe it's not quite my era of YA movie. I didn't really like the main actor, who's since become kind of big. He's gone on to do a lot of things, but I just didn't like him. So I didn't really buy the relationship between the two of them that much. And then it's really depressing. Like it gets really, really depressing as it goes. So it's almost like it's like The Fault in Our Stars with more gore, but I'm not really a Fault in Our Stars fan. With all due respect to John Green, my wife is a diehard John Green fan. But yeah, so I wasn't big on it, sad to say, but I've only seen it once. Any good horror comedy Rex? I feel like I've seen them all at this point. Yeah, check out Snatchers. Snatchers from I think it's from 2020, and it's about a teenage girl who accidentally gets pregnant, but she finds out she's pregnant with an alien baby, and it grows within a day and pops out and starts causing havoc. And it is so fun, so fun. It's absolutely hilarious, and it's super high energy. And it's very unknown and like it's lower budget, but it doesn't seem lower budget. It feels pretty great and it's good practical effects for the monsters. I just love that movie. Thank you, Emily. I really appreciate that. I will keep it up. You can count on that. I have seen The Battery. That's an interesting one. That movie, I think it's didn't Jeremy Saulnier do that? And he went on to do like Blue Ruin. I'm pretty sure that's him. That movie made a big splash when it first came out because like that came out during the period when I was listening to like a lot of horror podcasts, and it felt like everybody was talking about that one because it's a like micro budget movie. Like I just said, Snatchers is low budget. The Battery is like made for like $10. Like they had nothing to make that, and they did the best they could. It was a little uneventful for me. Because you know they had like no money and like nothing really happens. It's just people just kind of walk around during a zombie apocalypse, and at the end the zombies come about. But the zombie stuff at the end is pretty intense. So it's an interesting movie, especially if you like DIY kind of movies. Let's see. Oh, cool! You watch Island of the Fishman. Oh, hello, Gaston. By the way, it's a fantastic name. It was fun. Good, good. Yeah, yeah. It has very similar monsters to Humanoids from the Deep, but the movie that it really reminded me of the most was Fulci's Zombie. Like, it's an Italian horror film from the exact same year. And it's also got Richard Johnson in it as the guy that's on the island. And I was just like, it feels like it's almost in the same universe as Zombie. But over here there's zombies, and over here there's fishmen. I really, really like that movie. I thought it was a blast. Let's see. Oh, you're also shouting out Host and Cleansing Hour. Hello, Jessica, by the way. Thanks for dropping in. Ooh, you saw Lair of the White Worm. Interesting movie. Yeah. And it's got my boy Hugh Grant in a very early role. I love Hugh Grant, and he's great in it. The Visitors from 1988. I know The Visitor. Is that the one that we're talking about with Franco Nero? The Visitor is like beyond bonkers. It's one of the craziest things ever made. No, this is different. Okay. Yeah, I don't know The Visitors. Interesting. It looks like it's a Swedish movie. Okay, cool. I've never seen Troll 2. I know. I'm really like, in addition to, I don't really seek out like the most disturbing horror movies. I also don't really seek out the worst horror movies where everyone's like, oh, it's the worst thing ever. Generally, I'm like, okay, I just won't watch it, I guess. But I have seen Troll. I've seen the first Troll, and it's pretty fun. But yeah, still have not seen Troll 2. One of these days, I need to do it. I know. I do. Fear of Clowns, parts 1 and 2. I don't know that one. Okay, interesting. 36 versions of Alice Sweet Alice on Instagram page, like physical media versions. Wow, that's interesting. Yeah, you may notice Alice Sweet Alice in the thumbnail, which there's a bit of a reason for that. I have seen The Descent. I've seen it twice. And that's one of those movies that I just don't love as much as everybody else does. Neil Marshall in general just isn't my guy. But I did like Dog Soldiers better on this last watch. That was good. But yeah, The Descent, I don't know. Like, the thing with The Descent is everybody talks about how it's so scary. And for some reason, it just does not scare me. I just don't find it scary. And that's a movie that like lives and dies on being scary. Like, it doesn't have a whole lot else to offer other than we're here to scare you. So if you're not scared by it, there's kind of not a lot for you. And I don't know. I saw it once at home, actually in my college dorm back then. And then I actually got to see it in a theater because I'm always talking about these 24-hour marathons I attend. The first one I went to, they played The Descent. So it was my chance to see it for a second time in a theater. And I kind of felt the same way about it. I don't know, but everybody loves that movie. So I don't know what's wrong with me. So I don't know real good, but I use Just Watch. I use the Just Watch app and can very easily check if anything's streaming anywhere. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, no worries. I haven't noticed a plethora of typos. Hello, Vo Grizzly. Yeah, Evil Dead Trap is that's another one that I almost watched for a video recently, and I'm always like having to make all these decisions. Like, there's always movies I want to watch. Okay, I'm gonna watch. I'll pick these ones, and then these ones I'll have to save for later. So that was a save for later one, but I do want to see that. Yeah, Last Man on Earth I haven't seen in a long time, but yeah, original version of I Am Legend and the Omega Man, good stuff. No, I actually haven't. I've always known it's one of those movies I've always known I need to watch because I know it's a Western, but it's very dark and it's very violent. It's got Guy Pearce, but yeah, I haven't checked it out quite yet. We got the United States government in the house. Thank you for service. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's probably the most classic one, I would say. Let's see. Oh, you watch Creature from Black Lake. Fun watch. Yeah, the one thing I will say, even though I like Creature from Black Lake more, I just as a movie, I think it's a lot more entertaining. The depiction of Bigfoot is much scarier in Legend of Boggy Creek. Like, I really don't find Bigfoot scary in The Creature from Black Lake. Because he's just like, it almost doesn't make sense why his existence is a secret because he's just popping out everywhere. Like, anytime anybody camp, it's just like, Bigfoot's running out of the woods. All right, I'm here to scare you. But in Boggy Creek, it feels real. Like you just look off in the distance and you just see this lumbering figure with all this shaggy hair, and it's kind of scary. It's almost haunting. So that's a much better scary Bigfoot movie. Even though I just think Creature from Black Lake's a lot more entertaining. Yeah, that's a really good movie. Yeah, one of those movies that like feels like Val Lewton, but you're right, it's technically not. I've always wondered about Nomads. I remember when that first hit Shudder. It's like from the late 80s, I believe, and it's starring Pierce Brosnan. And I was like, I've never heard of this movie. What is this? I did look it up on Letterboxd, and it seemed like most people really don't like it, but that happens to me a lot, that I'll like a movie and then see everyone on Letterboxd is trashing it. So I don't know. But I all that to say I've not watched it yet, but I've always been curious about it. Oh, let's see. Finished doing a found footage movie for a cinematography class. That is very cool, Maverick. That's awesome. Yeah, found footage is very hit or miss for me, but when it hits, it really hits big. Yes, I need to see both of those for sure. The Hearse. I don't think I'm familiar with that one. Interesting. Let's see. You guys are talking to each other in here, which I appreciate. Yeah, Killer Party, good movie. Dead and Buried, good movie. Horror High, aka Twisted Brain 70s campy nostalgia trip. Did Vinegar Syndrome put that out? I think Vinegar Syndrome put out like a double feature of like 70s high school horror movies. I feel like maybe one of them was Horror High. Not sure for sure. That's right. Leave out some cookies for Jason so he doesn't kill you. Absolutely. Smoking Causes Coughing is a super weird horror comedy anthology. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I think at this point you guys are just throwing out a lot of obscure horror movies. So maybe I should get to the article reactions here. I'm gonna see if there's any actual questions in here. Ooh, what's your favorite scary attraction horror movie like Haunt or Hellfest? It is Hellfest. Love Hellfest. I just think it's so much fun. Um, I actually I saw it twice in theaters opening weekend. I saw it by myself and I was like, oh my gosh, I love this so much. And then I took my wife to see it. And you know what's funny is my wife is she's a writer and she's writing a book right now, and she's got this little plot in the book about like the main character's friends taking her to see a scary movie. And she doesn't say it's Hellfest, but from reading the descriptions, I was like, oh, you fit Hellfest into this book. And she said, yeah, I did. And I thought that was so great. Bro, where'd you get that hat? I got this hat from, it is, I think it's called Odd Job. Yeah. Yeah, Odd Job. It is a company that makes extra large hats because I have an extra large head and I can't buy hats at normal stores. So it's extra large. I've really liked all the hats I've gotten from them. Not sponsored, but they are pretty great. Let's see. Trying to see if there's any questions. Yeah, I do. I love Mute Witness. I've talked about that in two videos this year, actually. I talked about it in like my suspenseful movies list and my last Shudder recommendation list. Yeah, Mute Witness is phenomenal. It's one of the most intense movies I've seen in a while. I've not seen The Meridian. I think somebody might have told me about that in a recent stream, but yeah, full moon, romantic, gothic thriller. That sounds great. I'm gonna have to check it out. Let's see. I really like doing lists for specific vibes, and I've done a lot, but I have not done any of those. Southern Gothic list would be good because I've seen a couple in the past year or so, like Eve's Bayou and The Skeleton Key would fit very well in Southern Gothic vibe. Oh, cool. Thank you so much, Michelle. Thank you for dropping in. What are your thoughts on the In Search of Darkness docu-series? I've only seen the first one, which is funny because the people that are behind those actually watch my channel, and I got to do, and they asked me to do like a little promotional thing with them where they asked me to do like a short, a reel about like a favorite late 90s horror movie. And I did that, and they posted it on their Instagram and their Facebook, which was very cool. But yeah, I've seen the first one, and fun stuff. Yeah, just a lot of people talking about horror movies. Man, a lot of people are suggesting Jeff Goldblum movies. I've not seen Hideaway, but yeah, I am familiar with it. It's based on a Dean Koontz novel. Let's see. Llamageddon. I think I've maybe heard of that. Yeah, like a llama horror movie. I have not seen it. Okay, I'm gonna see if there's any questions in here. Ooh. So we got Matt Draper. Thank you so much, Matt. Runs a great channel himself and also probably one of my most loyal commenters. So thank you so much for always being in the comments, Matt. What is your favorite movie about an elderly Elvis Presley fighting a cowboy mummy that sucks people's souls out of their butts? Tough call. I got to say it's Bubba Hotep. You know what's funny, though? I haven't seen Bubba Hotep since I was a kid. And yes, I did see Bubba Hotep when I was a kid. And I don't think I liked it back then, but come on, I don't think I knew what I was watching. But I got the Scream Factory Blu-ray actually, and I just haven't rewatched it yet, but I've been meaning to. I am actually a big Elvis fan. I actually just rewatched Blue Hawaii this week, just as like a comfort watch while I was like, taking care of my son. I just threw on Blue Hawaii because it's good vibes. Yeah, I love Elvis, so I do need to rewatch that. Let's see. Yeah, I haven't yet. And that's one that like I almost watched for my serial killers list, I think, but I ended up watching something else. But yeah, that one was released on 4K by Vinegar Syndrome fairly recently. Let's see. Yeah, I am familiar with her story. I've not actually read the book. Like I know about the book and I've heard a lot about it. So I know her story is very interesting, but I've not actually read the book. So yeah, it's a good shout out. Yeah, I like The Uncanny. The Uncanny is a horror anthology that gets a lot of hate. People think it's terrible, and I just don't agree. I've seen it twice now. Like first time I watched it, I liked it, and then I actually did a dedicated review for it here on the channel, and I watched it again. I'm like, no, this movie's good. These are good segments. I like it. It's silly. It's all based on cats and being afraid of cats, but it's fun. Let's see. Yeah, I've not seen Doomsday. I've only seen from Neil Marshall. I think I've only seen Dog Soldiers, The Descent, and half of his Hellboy. And I think Neil Marshall's Hellboy might be one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Like, wow. But I only watched half of it. I could not take it anymore. It's just horrific. But Guillermo del Toro's Hellboy movies, love those. Ooh. Sator on Shudder. It's a folk horror movie set in the woods with a creepy atmosphere. That sounds right up my alley. I'm going to make a quick note of that. That sounds good. Okay, here it is. Oh, I kind of recognize that poster. Okay, cool. With so many horror movies out there, how do you decide which ones to watch or buy? It is basically based around my videos. So I decide on what videos I'm going to do, and I watch movies around those videos so I can make those videos. And that's where most of my decision making comes from. I have been feeling more recently like I think I need to squeeze in a few more watches that are just purely for myself and are not for the channel. Because for a while now, like I pretty much always watch things for the channel unless I'm watching something because my wife wants to watch it and it's a reason to hang out with her. But yeah, so basically it's more about I decide which videos I want to do and then I watch movies based around that. Let's see. Oh man, yeah, I've heard very bad things about that movie, but I do love an 80s backwoods slasher, so I may have to check it out. Yeah, Thomas, Venom with Klaus Kinski is great. I watched that fairly recently, and I talked about it in my Shudder recommendations list. That's just a really good movie. A little bit of a horror creature feature, maybe a little bit more of just a thriller, but just a good, intense film with great performances. Yes, love The Beguiled. I've only seen the original. I haven't seen the remake, but the original Clint Eastwood movie is fantastic. And yeah, there is some disturbing stuff for sure. It's kind of messed up. But it's just a really good movie. Ooh, Loved Ones is the best horror movie of this century. I don't agree with that, but I do quite like it. It's a good movie. I have not seen Thirst. That is a South Korean vampire movie, and I should watch it, and I really should have watched it before I made my best modern vampire movies list. You know, hard for me to say that I like that. I'm just gonna take these out. That I like regret any of my videos, but my video on like my top 15 modern vampire movies, after I did it and I've looked at the comments, I realized I should have watched more movies before I made that video. Like, I don't think I was quite ready. Like, I haven't seen Thirst. There are a few movies. Byzantium is one that people talk about a lot. I haven't seen Byzantium. I just started to notice that like there are more modern vampire movies I should have watched before I made this. But yeah, I haven't seen that one yet. Good evening, Real Feels podcast. Real Feels podcast. Thank you for dropping by. I've kind of listened to them. I'm not a metal fan though, so it's not really my thing. But I think it's very cool that he does it for sure. Ooh, William says 1408 is my favorite horror movie. That is a very good movie. Yeah, for sure. Good Stephen King adaptation. That movie really creeped me out when I was young because I saw that one pretty young. I love its use of the Carpenter song. We've only just begun. And I'm curious what you think about this. I love the theatrical ending. There's an alternate ending that's like on the DVD special features that a lot of people say they think is better. I don't agree. I think the theatrical ending is like really emotionally impactful. I think it's pretty amazing. Let's see. Anybody else excited for the Arrows 4K release of the stuff next month? I didn't realize they were doing a 4K. Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah, they put out that Blu-ray a very long time ago. That's an old school Arrow release. Oh, man. What got you into horror movies? The short answer is the Universal Monsters and just my dad. My dad showed me Universal Monsters movies from a very young age. I loved them. They're like the first movies I can really remember being obsessed with. And my dad is like not a hardcore horror fan. Like he hasn't seen near as much as I have at this point. But he is a horror fan and he just likes Halloween and just spooky stuff. So I just grew up with like Halloween was a big deal. My dad telling scary stories was a big deal. My dad really likes graveyards. So sometimes we would walk through graveyards. So I just kind of grew up around spooky stuff. But I was also really scared of it. The Universal Monsters I loved. Those I could handle. But like anything slightly more modern, I was too scared of. But when I eventually got over that, I just really just fell in love with the genre big time. Oh man. Bug with Ashley Judd. That's a William Friedkin movie, actually. I've seen that. That is the movie that I absolutely despise because it just like ruined my psyche when I watched it. That just movie is just one of the most like disgusting, aggressively miserable movies I've ever seen, and I hate it. Not a fan. Let's see. Haunt or Hellfest, neither. Haunted Ween. Yeah, really like Haunted Ween. A lot of fun. I don't think it's might be more fun than Haunt. It's not more fun than Hellfest, though. I love Hellfest. Thank you, Spooch. I appreciate that. Man, I must be really, really behind on the comments. Oh, wait. We got a super chat, so I'm going to skip right to that. Here we go. Thank you so much, Crimson Ghost, for a $4.99 super chat. You rule. A friend of mine is a producer in Hollywood, horror series in development. Here's a clue. Produced by Peter Jackson, based on his early horror film. Wow, there is a horror series in development based on an early Peter Jackson movie, so like Dead Alive or Bad Taste. That's cool. That's wild. I would not have guessed. The Peter Jackson movie I could guess a TV show being based on is Lord of the Rings, but probably not those two. But that's awesome. Very cool, and thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate it. Okay, let's see. I'm not sure exactly where I was. Oh, yeah. The Man Who Could Cheat Death. I have seen that. I'm not a big fan of it, but I'm trying to remember who the woman is in that. So it's got Christopher Lee, and it's got another guy I don't really recognize. That may be the guy's name that you have on screen. Was it the woman from from the Two Faces of Dr. Jekyll? I'm not sure. But it's a pretty good movie. It's not one of my favorite Hammer movies for sure. Could you show us your collection and pick your absolute favorites? I've got good news for you. I have a video where I did show the entire collection. It's like a 3.5 hour video, and I went over every single. Sorry, I got distracted by something. Every movie I have, I literally sat here and held up every single one. So yeah, you can check that out. But yeah, I've got this shelf back here. That shelf is all Scream Factory. That was my goal for a long time, is I wanted to fill up that shelf with just Scream Factory, and I pretty much done it. There's just a little bit more room. Then I've got another shelf back there, and now I have a spinny shelf in the corner over here. I love my spinny shelf. It's so great. I've not seen Black Sheep. I've heard very interesting things about it, though. Hello, Grave Reviews, by the way. That's a good name. I have heard some fairly interesting things. I can't remember what country that's from. Is it an Irish movie? Or something like that. What's your favorite Lovecraftian type movie? From Beyond. Stuart Gordon's From Beyond. Undoubtedly my favorite. But that's actually a Lovecraft movie. If I were to say a favorite like Lovecraftian movie that's not technically Lovecraft, probably In the Mouth of Madness, but also The Empty Man and also Possession. Possession from 1981, which will be talked about on the channel very soon, because I just gave that a rewatch. Man, Possession is one hell of a movie. Have you seen Nail Gun Massacre? I have, and I actually talked about that in my first Bonkers Horror video, which I did back in January. So I did talk about it, and that movie's fun. That's a fun movie. Blue Hawaii is great. It is just chill vibes. Very fun. Ooh, here we go. What is Elvis Presley's best film? You know, most people will try to go classy, and they'll say King Creole. King Creole is his most respectable movie, and it's a very good movie. But my favorite is Viva Las Vegas. Man, Viva Las Vegas is just one of the most fun movies I've ever seen. And Elvis, huge fan of him. He's amazing. But he is upstaged by Anne Margaret in that movie. Like, Anne Margaret is just incredible. That's just such a fun film. I feel like it would do miserably bad. So few people would watch it. I did a podcast on Elvis movies once. I hosted the Cobwebs podcast for years before I did the Cobwebs channel. And I did do an episode on a bunch of Elvis movies. And so it's probably still on at least Spotify. So you can probably check that out. Let's see. We got Davey Deathray in the house. Thank you so much for dropping by, Davey. We were just messaging earlier today. Make sure you hit that like button. Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I need to rewatch Bubba Hotep for sure. Killer Animals movie list, but separate from creature features. Technically haven't done that, but I should, especially since Dangerous Animals just came out, which is apparently a great new shark movie. Man, I was so close to going to see it in theaters, and it didn't end up coming together for, I can't remember exactly why, but yeah, I really want to see Dangerous Animals. And maybe once I see that, I'll do it, because that'd be fun. Let's see. If you go back in time, it's becoming Elvis chat, and cast Elvis in any horror movie, which movie and role would you choose for him? I'm also a huge Elvis fan. Jeez. Let me, okay, real quick, to slightly rephrase the question, let me shout out one Elvis movie that I think horror fans should watch, and it's called Tickle Me. Yes, there is a movie out there called Tickle Me. I have no idea why it's called that. It has nothing to do with anything. But it's for the most part a goofy Elvis musical rom-com. But at the end, they go into this like haunted house, and it becomes this like very Halloween-y spook show thing. And it's very stupid and fun. So yeah, I recommend horror comedy fans, especially check out Tickle Me. But Elvis in a horror movie, you know what? If he lived long enough, and sadly he didn't because of tragic circumstances, it would have been interesting to see him like in the Farmer Vincent role in Motel Hell. You know, that would have been interesting. Because I was thinking like make him like a scary Southern guy. Ooh, also if he lived long enough, I don't know, maybe like Chuck Connor's role in Tourist Trap. I don't know. I'm just trying to imagine him like as a scary Southern boy who's like gonna cook you or something, or like in Texas Chainsaw Massacre or something. But he's too good looking for that. Of course, he's like one of the most good looking people who ever lived. So yeah, that's a tough one. It could have been interesting. I've not seen Redneck Zombies. I think that's a shot on video movie, but no, I haven't seen it. Ooh, make Elvis the sheriff on Assault on Precinct 13. I would say don't make him the sheriff, make him the convict. What is that character's name? He has such a cool name in that movie. I feel like it's like a state. I can't remember. But yeah, I would make him the convict who's like has the heart of gold and helps the sheriff in Assault on Precinct 13. That'd be cool. Although the guy that did it was already fantastic, so it's hard for me to want to replace anybody in that movie. Um, no, I have not seen that. That's wild. Yes, I have seen Amityville 2. Every time I do a bonkers horror list, I like almost put in Amityville 2, but I haven't yet. But I need to because that's a good movie. It's like it's insane, but it is like actually good, I think. Ooh, can you imagine the horror movies that will get made when Batman hits public domain? Okay, actually, here's my hot take. I think every superhero should go to public domain. Like, I'm kind of tired of like every superhero has to have this really big deal 4 quadrant blockbuster. I'm like, just make it so anybody can make one because I would like to see like a gritty Batman martial arts movie, you know? But like they're not going to do that because it won't make enough money. Like it has to be a 4 quadrant kind of thing. But yeah, I say like let's just get a bunch of low budget, just kick ass action superhero movies. I think that'd be cool. I've not seen Grabbers yet. I need to. Whoa, we have got one of my YouTube heroes, Mike Bracken, the horror geek. Thank you so much for dropping in, man. I super appreciate that. Yeah, Mike rules. Coolest guy. Let's see. We got Tom in the house. Hey, Daniel, love your channel. Wanted to ask you about 2 recent horror movies I absolutely love, The Menu and Scare Me. Quick thoughts on them. Thanks. Sadly, I've not seen Scare Me. And I say sadly because I love Josh Rubin. And Josh Rubin, because I'm almost positive he directed that. Like, I'm pretty darn sure. He directed Hard Eyes, which I love. He stars in The Wounded Fawn, which I love. He just seems like a super cool guy, but I've not seen it yet. The Menu, I love. The Menu is a fantastic movie. Like such a good, you know, some people might say it's a little bit more of a thriller than a horror movie, whatever. Man, I'm such a big fan of Anya Taylor-Joy, and like she's amazing in that movie. That's another movie that I own and have not watched yet. So that's in the to watch pile. Oh, okay. You are asking interesting questions right now. Somebody is asking, have I seen the 2 most recent Universal Soldiers movies? Yes, I have. Yeah, I've actually seen a pretty good amount of cult action films. You know, the sad thing about YouTube is people on YouTube are not very interested in hearing about action movies, it seems like, because it seems like action content doesn't do well. I kind of theorize that it's because people like to watch action movies, but not really interested in hearing people discuss it. But anyway, yes, I have seen them. I've seen all the Universal Soldiers movies, and they're both directed by John Himes, who's the son of Peter Himes. And Peter Himes did movies like Time Cop. But John Himes is a really good director, like a very visceral director. Like he also directed Sick, which is a slasher thriller that's like kind of centered around COVID a little bit, but like not too much. But it's also like not the best written movie, but a really well directed movie. But anyway, back to these Universal Soldiers movies. The first one he did, which I think is called Universal Soldier Retribution, not a big fan of. It barely has Dolph and Van Damme. It's mostly just some random guy, and it's a little too dark, and I don't really care about the story. Universal Soldier Day of Reckoning is a very interesting movie. It's starring Scott Adkins, who is like my favorite star of cult action films. Very like low budget action, but he's pretty amazing in them. He's like this vicious martial arts dude. And Universal Soldier Day of Reckoning is like a David Lynch movie. It's like if an action movie was a David Lynch film. Like it's super weird and trippy and crazy. It's very good. Very super crazy violent. There's like an unbelievably brutal fight scene between Van Damme and Scott Adkins. It's pretty cool. All right. Yes, I'm very excited about 28 Years Later, and I will be doing a review for it. I kind of want to get back into doing some reviews, dedicated reviews for like bigger new release horror movies. They won't replace the lists, but I think I'll just throw them in as like a bonus video, a third video that week. And I will be doing that for 28 Years Later. Very excited for it. And tomorrow night, my buddy Chris and I are getting together and we're going to double feature the other 228 movies, refresh on those before we check out the new one. So that's going to be fun. Always meant to see The Reflecting Skin. Yeah, I haven't seen that one yet. Actually, I didn't know it was a vampire movie. I've heard about it, but I never heard it was a vampire movie, so that's interesting. The Alien Factor. Okay, interesting. I've not heard about that. I still love graveyards. I think graveyards are super cool. My wife thinks I'm very weird for that, but it's ingrained in me from childhood. The wife and I love your channel, even when you dislike movies we love. Have you checked out the Horror in the High Desert found footage films, the first two on Tubi? Wow, I've never heard of them. Horror in the High Desert. Interesting. Okay, yeah, I'll have to look into those. Thank you for shouting them out. Let's see. Okay, we got agreement for the 1408 theatrical ending. Good deal. I appreciate that. How about The Omen and the old classic, The Bad Seed? Love The Omen. I've seen a chunk of The Bad Seed, but I've not seen all of it for some reason. So I need to catch up with that. No, I do like Bloody Pit of Horror. I don't think it's like particularly good, but like some old Italian horror movies, I think are like they're awesome, they're amazing. Bloody Pit of Horror is not, but it's entertaining. It's pretty fun. That's funny. I was just thinking about Hell Night today, and yes, I have. I've seen it. Well, I haven't talked about it on the channel, but I've seen it at least a couple of times. Something I really like about Hell Night is it's an 80s slasher movie, but they use this costume party as like an excuse to get the characters in these like old timey outfits. And then they go into this spooky haunted mansion, and it almost looks like it's like a Hammer movie, or it looks like it's a period piece Gothic movie, but it's just teenagers in the 80s in costumes, and it's an 80s slasher. So it's kind of, it's interesting how they do that. And it's a very fun movie. That's Linda Blair. Linda Blair's the star of that. Thank you, Roger. Yeah. Hit the like button. I would super appreciate it. You guys rule. Not seen that. Heard about it. Yeah, isn't that from the South Park guys? I think, but yeah, I've not seen it. Oh man, no. Mads is one that kind of came out of nowhere, and like I didn't hear about it, and then all of a sudden everybody's catching up with it, and like, oh wow, it's amazing. But yeah, I haven't seen it yet, so I need to catch up with it. Let's see. Love your channel so much. Thank you. Any love for the Watchers franchise? Also, I'm drunk. Good for you. The Watchers franchise? I don't know what that is. I know there was a movie that came out last year called The Watchers that I believe was directed by M. Night Shyamalan's daughter, but I don't know the Watchers franchise. So yeah, that's interesting. Oh, you watched The Body Snatcher. I think I was going to watch Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Happy mistake. Very different movies, but yeah, The Body Snatcher is really good. Amazing performance from Karloff. Okay, let me take a sip. Let's do a little reaction. So the first article that I want to look at, and I'm going to present, because if anybody wasn't here at the start, I noticed that there are a lot of like big websites, big publications that put out articles like 20 scariest movies you've never seen. And I thought, well, let me look at some of these on a live stream, and we'll kind of determine like, have I seen these? Are they actually that obscure? Should they be in a list like this? So I haven't looked at them yet, so we'll do it together. All right. All right. Yep. There we go. So apologies for ads. Like here, they got just some ad right here. They don't have a picture from any of the movies. But this is from Rolling Stone, 20 scariest horror movies you've never seen, from French slasher flicks to Spanish ghost stories. I'm like 99.9% sure I know what the Spanish ghost story is. French slasher flick, probably High Tension. And then the Spanish ghost story, probably The Orphanage. But we'll see. Here are a handful of horror flicks that make for perfect alt Halloween viewing. Audition. I wouldn't consider that an obscure one. I feel like when it comes to, by the way, why do they have a picture of The Descent right here? Oh, they have the same picture for all of them? That's weird. What a terrible way to do this. Yeah, I feel like when it comes to Japanese horror, Audition's like one of the first movies that people think of. But yes, I have seen that one, and it is good. You know, the funny thing about that one, though, is for as much as I said that like I don't like watching too disturbing movies, that one is one that people call like super, super disturbing, and I didn't really think it was that much. Like it didn't really mess me up that much. Ooh, we got Garrett from Born to Be Rad in the house. Thank you so much for dropping in, man. Let's see. Next, we've got Death Dream. Death Dream, I've not seen. That's another one from Bob Clark, who did Black Christmas and, of course, A Christmas Story. That's one I've been meaning to see for so long. It actually just got released on 4K, so I need to catch up with it. I've heard very good things about it. The Descent, come on. The Descent is like one of the most talked about modern horror movies. I hear about it constantly. No, not obscure whatsoever. Get out of here with that. Excision, yeah, I would say that's more obscure. I have seen it. I thought it was pretty good. Who is that guy that directed it? I can't remember. He's directed a few other things. I don't remember his name. But yeah, it's about this woman who she has like these like sexual fantasies about like surgical things and cutting into people and stuff. It's pretty weird. I didn't love it, but I thought it was pretty good. Let's see. Funny Games. I mean, it's foreign, so maybe, I don't know. I don't think it's that. At least a lot of people have heard about it. Yeah, what's funny is I actually have not seen the original. I have only seen the American remake, and I didn't like it that much. But it's also like not one of my kind of horror movies. Like people go into a house and start torturing people. It's not really my thing. Let's see. Yeah, I agree with you, Spooch. That one I would consider more obscure. Yeah. Let's see. Next, we've got God Told Me To. Yeah, I could consider that more obscure. That's a Larry Cohen movie. Funny thing, that's a movie that I have seen. I swear I've seen it. I barely remember it, so it didn't like stick in my brain for some reason. But I remember like when I think it first got released on Blu-ray or something. Like everybody was talking about that movie. It really made a big splash. But yeah, I don't remember it very well, so I guess I'll have to check it out again. House of the Devil. See, lower budget indie movie, sure. But I think this was like one of the indie movies that popped. That like really, it was one of the movies that caused like a big indie horror boom in like the early 2010s. Which was a great time. I love the indie horror boom of the 2010s. It was great. I feel like House of the Devil, because it popped so much, at least with horror fans, it was one of the movies that kicked that off. So I don't know that it's that obscure, really, especially not anymore. I Saw the Devil. Maybe I hear about it a lot. I've actually never seen it. It's one of those movies that like, I'm sure it's like not that messed up, but it's one of those movies that I'm a little bit scared to watch for some reason, based on the things that I've heard about it. I need to check it out though. Inside. Okay. I said French slasher flick, probably High Tension. No, they went with Inside. Have not seen Inside. Another one of those movies that like I've kind of put off watching because I've heard it's so messed up. So maybe I haven't seen it. So it, I can't say it doesn't belong here. Kill List. Okay, I'll take it. Yeah, Kill List is a movie I've not talked about on the channel yet, and therefore people assume I haven't seen it. And I get so many comments where people are like, you have to see Kill List. I have seen Kill List. Kill List is actually a movie that, so I told you earlier, I'm currently editing a video on like 10 messed up, scary movies that'll ruin your night. And I thought afterwards, like, I should have put Kill List on there. I kind of forgot about it. I should have put that on that list because Kill List was a movie that kind of ruined my night because the end of that movie is so upsetting, like really, really miserable thing. And I was like, I felt gross after Kill List was over. I was like, I need a shower. Like I need that out of my head, but it is a good movie. Not great because I think it takes a long time for it to become a horror movie. When I first put it on, I'm spending too much time on Kill List, I realize. But when I first put it on, I thought like I must have put on the wrong movie because it felt like nothing like some folk horror movie. But it takes so long for it to get there. And once it's there, it's very upsetting for sure. I saw a question in here I kind of wanted to answer. Here we go. From Maddie Campbell. Are there any good anime horror movies? There are. I used to watch a little more anime than I do now. I haven't watched anything anime in years, but I used to dabble into it. Vampire Hunter D. Pretty cool gothic vampire movie from the 80s, actually. Pretty bloody and stuff. That is good. I'd recommend that one. Okay, let's see. Ooh, Matt said, I fell asleep watching Kill Us and never went back to it. I can understand because, like I said, it takes so long to get to the folk horror stuff. Like, it takes almost the entire movie to get there. And once it gets there, a lot of it is very dark and shaky cam. But it's like the very end moment that is like one of the most miserable things I've ever watched in my life. So I can't say it's a movie I love, but it's a movie I have not forgotten. Martyrs, more French extremism. Martyrs is one of those movies that I kind of just don't want to watch. Based on everything I know about it, it sounds like something I don't really want in my head. So that's just me. May, yeah, I think May deserves to be here. May is definitely more obscure. Really good, though. I'm a big fan of May. May just got released on Blu-ray from Vestron, and I want it, but like, holy cow, it's expensive. The Vestron Blu-rays used to be so cheap, and then they became exclusive on Lionsgate's website, and now they're like $30 plus shipping. And I'm like, $30 for a Vestron Blu-ray? They used to be like $12. That hurts. But I do love May, so I probably should get it. Bite the bullet on that one. Let's see. The Orphanage. Yep. The Spanish ghost story, I thought for sure. The Orphanage, I think, is one of the best horror movies I've ever seen. Like, it is amazing. If you have not seen The Orphanage, top recommendation. It is an incredible haunted house film. Paper House. I've seen, if it's the movie I'm thinking of, yeah, I've seen Paper House. I didn't really consider it a horror movie. I don't remember thinking it was a horror movie. That's interesting. It's kind of a weird coming of age movie from the 80s, but I didn't really think about it as a horror film. That's interesting. Let's see. Possession. There we go. Just mentioned Possession. Yeah, I think Possession deserves to be here. I think it definitely used to be a lot more obscure than it is now. Like, now it's on Shudder, so a lot of people have seen it. It used to be really hard to find. I think I was able to get it through like Netflix DVD, or maybe a friend. No, I think a friend of mine just like downloaded it. A friend who does that kind of thing. But yeah, it used to be really hard to get a hold of. Now it's on Shudder. It's more accessible. Now, The First Omen brought more attention to it because The First Omen takes a lot of inspiration from Possession for one scene in particular. So more people know about it now, but I still think it deserves to be here, and it's an incredible movie. Holy cow, what a movie. Ravenous, yeah, I'll accept it. I'll accept it, yeah. Ravenous is good. I have it on Blu-ray right back there. It's a really good movie. Severance. See, I know the TV show Severance, but I don't know this movie. Roundly compared to The Office meets slasher movie of choice around its release. It's funny that they call it Severance because the new TV show Severance is also about office life. So that's weird. Huh. Yeah, haven't seen it. The Signal, I have been getting multiple comments on the channel recently about The Signal. All of a sudden, people are telling me about this movie. I've heard about it, but I have not seen it. So I would say that definitely belongs to be there. Thesis, I've not heard of Thesis. While working on a thesis about violence in cinema, a grad student discovers a movie in which a fellow student who disappeared 3 years earlier is tortured and killed. After enlisting a friend obsessed with grindhouse flicks to help investigate the murder, the duo link the girl's murder to an ex-boyfriend at school, or do they? What? Interesting. Yeah, I have never heard of this. I'm checking the chat if anybody else has. No, I don't see anybody saying that. Yeah, interesting. Okay. Trouble Every Day. I've never heard of this either. French art house director. Oh, it's a Claire Denis film. Body horror. Bloodsucker genre. Huh. Wait, the film's gory centerpiece is a depiction of extreme erotic hunger as unwatchably gruesome as it is strangely sexy. Eat your heart out, all other vampire movies. It's a vampire movie? I've never heard of this. Wow, that's interesting. Okay, that's it. That's the whole list. All right. I would say that is not a bad list. I think it's got some, like, Audition shouldn't be there. The Descent should not be there. But there's some good picks, so I'm in support of it. Okay, we got some support for Trouble Every Day. Yeah, I've never heard of that. That sounds very interesting. Let's see. Oh, wait. I saw a reaction to something I feel like I need to see. Oh, here we go. Did this horror YouTuber just say he's too scared to watch Martyrs? Ain't no way. Let me tell you, man. If you want to call me a wimp, that's totally fine. I really don't care. Probably compared to a lot of other horror YouTubers, I might actually be a little bit of a wimp. But I don't know. I'm just like, I'm a very empathetic movie watcher, and when I watch something that's like really messed up, it like just sticks in my brain, and I don't like it. Because my favorite thing about horror movies is I generally think horror movies are really fun to watch and they're really enjoyable. But I don't like watching people torture other people. And like sometimes I'm fine with it. But from everything I've heard, Martyrs is like one of the most upsetting movies about people torturing other people, and I that's just not something I want to watch. And I think it's perfectly acceptable for anybody to have certain lines, and like there are certain things that like I personally don't want to watch that, and I think that's okay. But if you want to say I'm a wimp, it's all good. I really don't mind. I'll take it. Let's see. The Censor, yes, I love Censor. I have like the nice Vinegar Syndrome Blu-ray right back there. Huge fan of it. I think it's brilliant. Looking for Mr. Goodbar, I also think is brilliant. I also have the Vinegar Syndrome Blu-ray right back there. Fantastic movie. Here we go. Martyrs ain't easy, bro. Leave him alone. Wish I could take back my watch. Yeah. I just don't want to get in that position. There are certain things that I kind of wish I didn't watch, and yeah, I'm perfectly fine staying away from it. I'll be fine. Ooh, Trouble Every Day will make your list of movies that ruined your day for sure. Okay, interesting. The thesis in grad school often caused students to never graduate. Interesting. Yeah, and I there's nothing wrong with that, you know, and it's not like I have a moral problem with those things being made. It's not like I'm saying it shouldn't be made. It's not like I'm saying other people shouldn't watch it. I got no problems with that. There are just certain things I don't want to see. Like also like if a movie has anything to do with sexual assault and children, I do not want to see that movie. I absolutely do not want to see that movie. Like from what I hear, that's like a lot of what a Serbian film is. There's no chance in hell I will ever watch a Serbian film. There's just certain things I do not want to see. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But if people say this guy's a wimp, I don't want to watch him. That's fine. There are plenty of channels. Check out my boys at the Splattercast. My good friends Dylan and Luke, the Splattercast YouTube channel, they do a lot of videos about the most disturbing horror movies. And I've watched a lot of those videos, and like hearing about these movies, I'm like, I cannot believe that even exists. They are your guys. If I'm too much of a wimp, check those guys out. Let's see. See, that's interesting. Somebody said they don't think Martyrs is as disturbing as people made it out to be. See, and you know, that's kind of how I felt about Audition. When I saw Audition, I didn't think anything in that movie was like too far at all. Interesting movie. Let's see. I would assume Terrifier was like Martyrs, but you seem to like Terrifier. Yeah, the Terrifier movies, the thing about those is I really think the Terrifier movies have an element of camp and goofiness. So like when there's torture in those movies, and it's like, you know, those movies are slasher movies, you know. They're slasher movies more than they're torture movies. So it's not like people are being kept alive in an underground basement and tortured every day. That's the kind of stuff I don't like. Like Art the Clown kills people. And like there's some torture in the process, but he kills people. And it's very heightened, silly, over the top. So like those movies don't feel real to me at all. It just feels like goofy fun. But that's just me. Some people think those movies are too far. Let's see. Man, Feast is another movie I own and have not watched. I've been saying that a lot, so I need to see it. Let's see. Somebody said, I see Terrifier mainly 2 and 3 as more fun horror than disturbing horror. Yeah, I totally agree. Like those movies, they're silly, you know, and like there's stuff that's really gross and I'm like, gross, but I'm kind of laughing while I'm grossed out, you know, like, whereas Bring Her Back, when gross stuff happens to Bring Her Back, I'm not laughing. I'm just like, holy, like Bring Her Back for me is a very disturbing movie, but for other people, I'm sure they've seen much worse. Let's see. Yeah, I've heard about those movies and probably not. Probably not. Let's see. In a Glass Cage. Interesting. Yeah, I haven't even heard of that one. I have seen Wolf Creek. And like, I didn't think Wolf Creek was too disturbing or anything. I just didn't like it that much, especially by the ending. I was just kind of like, what was the point of this? I don't know. I'm not a big Wolf Creek fan. I think it's okay. I don't think it's like bad. I think the performance from the scary guy in it, I don't remember his name, was very good. But yeah, not too much for me, but just I didn't love it. I haven't seen Eden Lake though. I've always been kind of curious about Eden Lake because it has Michael Fassbender, which seems so weird for a movie like that. Let's see. This is my only horror channel because you have the same taste I have. I'm too empathetic for movies that are too realistic. Yeah. Yeah. My buddy Chase over at the AVA Pop Culture channel, he's a lot like me with this kind of thing. And he was getting attacked from somebody in his comments recently, saying that like, you're not a real horror fan because you like fun horror movies and you should just be watching like Saw and Blood-Sucking Freaks. I can't believe Blood-Sucking Freaks was one of his examples. That's just ridiculous, guys. Like, there's so many different kinds of horror movies. And I've seen most all kinds of horror movies. Like, I've still sampled the French extremism stuff. I haven't seen Martyrs, but I've seen some of it. And I've seen really messed up stuff. I've seen scary stuff. I've seen very intense stuff. But, like, generally my favorite stuff is the stuff that's more fun or the stuff that's scary in, like, a spooky way. Like, Ghost Watch. You know, I love a ghost story. And really, like saying like you're not a real horror fan unless you watch the tortury stuff is really dumb because the most traditional form of horror storytelling is ghost stories. Like that's the horror storytelling that has the most history is ghost stories. So like if anything, say you're not a real horror fan if you don't like ghost movies, but even that's stupid. But at least that's makes a little bit more sense. Yeah, Feast looks really fun. So I do want to watch it. That's why I bought it. I just haven't popped it in yet. Ooh, Session 9. Man, I watched Session 9 for the first time this year, and I think it's my favorite first time watch of the year. I watched it for a video I did on Asylum set horror movies, and excuse me, Session 9 is very scary, but in a way that I love. It's just like really just creepy stuff, but a great story, great actors, incredible atmosphere because they filmed it in an actual rundown, abandoned asylum. And like, they didn't production design that movie. That movie takes place in that place. And like, they just went in and shot it. And it just has such a creepy vibe. And it's really cool to listen to the actors talk about the experience of making that movie. Cause they talk about how like, it just felt like dark and creepy in there. And they kind of couldn't wait for the shoot to be over. That's great. That's just spooky vibes all the way. I just love it. Yeah, Session 9 is amazing. Session 9 is a movie I actually watched on streaming. I rented it on streaming to check it out, and I loved it so much I bought the Blu-ray mostly so I could watch the making of doc because there's a making of doc on there, and I was like, I gotta see that, and it was great. Let's see, Waxwork. Yeah. See, yeah, you're 14. That makes sense. Waxwork is a poster child of like super fun horror movie. See, that's interesting. You said Wolf Creek is more disturbing than Martyrs. I don't feel like I never hear it. I feel like Martyrs is always held up as like the most disturbing movie besides like, you know, those other movies I was mentioning, like an actual horror movie. But yeah, that's interesting because Wolf Creek wasn't too much for me. Sometimes I may just be building things up too much in my head. You know, that very much may be the case. I was doing that as a kid. When I was a kid, my dad told me all about the Silence of the Lambs. And for years, I had a fear of cannibals, which is so stupid for a kid to be actively scared of cannibals, but I was. And he told me all about Poltergeist. And that night, I was terrified of my closet. That like it was going to portal to a ghost world. But then actually the day after that, he showed me Poltergeist, and I just loved it. So that fear didn't last long. But yeah, sometimes I do build up movies too much in my head. Ooh, here we go. How do we feel about Robert Eggers directing a new version of A Christmas Carol? Man, when I first saw that, I almost thought like, is this a joke? Is this real? Now, apparently he's doing it. I will just caution people that he's kind of like Guillermo del Toro, that he talks about a lot of stuff and not all of it happens. However, Nosferatu was one of those for a long time, and then it finally did happen. So I feel like I don't have 100% confidence this is going to happen. But if it does, I'm all in. I would love to see it. I love A Christmas Carol is one of the greatest stories of all time. Robert Eggers is amazing at period pieces. He's amazing at spooky atmosphere. It would be the spookiest Christmas Carol ever. And I would love to watch it. It would be awesome. I got a Christmas Carol vibes when I was watching Nosferatu because it was like that kind of period. It's snowing. It took place around Christmas time. And when I was watching Nicholas Hoult run through the streets of the city, I was like, this feels like watching Bob Cratchit run to Scrooge's office. So it's a match made in heaven. But his next movie that he's making now that is for sure happening is his werewolf movie, which I guess is maybe pronounced werewolf, something like that. It takes place in like the Middle Ages. That's going to be incredible. Like, I can't tell you how excited I am for that. Mephisto, just want to say thank you for all the amazing work you put into your channel. I'm dealing with a difficult patch in my life, and the Cobwebs channel has helped me so much. Much love. Oh, thank you so much. I hear that from people a lot, and it really, really means a lot. You know, because I really do. I think of this channel as something more than a place to recommend movies. Because I know what I do is I recommend movies or rank movies. But I really just see it as like, I just make like relaxing videos where movies get talked about because that's the kind of thing that I like to watch. And when I hear that like that means something to people, it means a lot. So thank you so much. Let's see. Ooh, thoughts on the Black Phone. Yeah, I liked it. I need to rewatch it though because I saw it at a drive-in and it was one of the coolest drive-ins I'd been at. It was such a cool place. We got food. My wife and I were there with a couple of friends. It was a great experience. The screen looked beautiful, but the sound was not great. And it's because, I'm playing sound from my car like you're supposed to, but they were also playing it on speakers by the screen, but like not loud enough to where you could rely on that. So there was like a little bit of an echo. So I kind of struggled with the dialogue, on understanding the dialogue sometimes. So I do feel like I need to rewatch it, but I did like it anyway. I haven't watched the trailer for the sequel, but I'm excited for it because I heard people comparing it a little bit to A Nightmare on Elm Street. It's getting more supernatural. That sounds great. So I'm really excited. Yeah, I want to see those movies, especially Pulse. I hear really cool things about Pulse, and I really want to watch that. Yeah, Razorback is good. I definitely like Razorback more than Wolf Creek for sure. Razorback is pretty awesome. Yeah, it is unbelievably well shot. Like I put on Razorback and I'm like, yeah, let's watch this creature feature with a wild boar. Sounds fun. And then it's shot like it's going for best picture at the Oscars. Like it's the easy, gorgeously photographed movie. I can't believe they went that hard on the cinematography. So yeah, so good. Let's see. Yeah, I would agree with that because when he said Saw, I'm like, the Saw movies are pulp fun. Like the Saw movies are kind of goofy, so I don't think it really fits there. What's funny? I've seen Nightbreed, but I couldn't tell you what cut I watched. Yeah, so I'm not sure. But I liked Nightbreed, but I feel like I need to give it another shot. Maybe specifically with the director's cut. Let's see. Yeah, Ghost Watch. Gosh, so good. See, I wouldn't say Late Night with the Devil ripped it off, but they're operating in a similar space. But a horror subgenre is people steal things back and forth all the time, and I have no problem with that. It's got the same kind of vibe. I really like Late Night with the Devil too, but it doesn't compare to Ghost Watch. Ghost Watch is the top. My take on Bone Tomahawk is it's awesome. I love Bone Tomahawk because I love a Western. It's just like a really good Western up until the end when it becomes a super brutal horror movie. I will say Bone Tomahawk did that kill before Terrifier did because Terrifier does a kill. It's like the biggest, most disgusting kill in the movie, the first one. Bone Tomahawk did it first. Yeah, that's a great, great film. Yo, I'm on my live stream talking to you. I didn't know you were going live. You usually go live on Fridays. Okay, cool. Yeah, I talked about you a little bit in that commenter that you got today. Yeah, I agree. And I prefer horrified and scared 100 times over disturbing, personally. But I still like some disturbing movies, for sure. Yeah, I've seen Next of Kin. It didn't blow me away. I found it a little slow for some reason. I don't know. Could have been my mood that day. Wow, William. That is a very interesting point that I have never thought about. That could be very, very cool. Hello, Miss C. Everybody, so I forgot to live stream. You rock. I completely agree with you on all movies. Wow, that's pretty incredible. Thanks. You found your ideal YouTuber then. If you agree with me on all movies, I don't think most people could say that. Uh, yeah, you know what? One thing I did kind of think about around that is my favorite kind of found footage movie is mockumentary movies. So I love a found footage movie where it's like edited together like it's supposed to be a documentary. I just watched one, which is The Bay. Man, The Bay is really, really good. And like that just really dawned on me that like I love movies like this. Like Lake Mungo is another one. I love a mockumentary horror movie, and I would like to do a list around those. Oh man, Chandra. Terrified is a movie I have been meaning to watch ever since it came out. Like it came out, it made a bunch of buzz. I'm like, I gotta check that movie out. I still haven't seen it. I gotta get around to that because I hear it's fantastic. Okay. Got Chase kind of sort of in the house. Yeah, for sure. Ooh, Session 9 was filmed not far from me. I broke in there as a youth. I hope the statute of limitations is up on that. You are my hero. If you broke into the Session 9 asylum, that is amazing. I have such a fascination with like abandoned locations, but I haven't actually like broke in any. I don't think I ever have. One time, some of my friends and I, when I was like maybe like 18 or something, we went to where there was supposed to be like kind of an abandoned carnival amusement park kind of thing out in the woods. Once we got there, there was like almost nothing left from it. So it wasn't a lot to see, but there was a little bit. And it was just like creepy going out into the woods late at night to go do something spooky. So it was fun. I kind of wish I did more of that back before, I had a kid. Okay, tell you what, let's do another reaction. Let's look at another one of these lists. Let's see. Okay, this one's interesting. This one's actually from Watch Mojo's website. So Watch Mojo is, of course, probably the biggest YouTube channel that does lists. They're huge. They have been for a long time. But this is not a video. This is an article on their website, which I didn't even know they really did. But here it is. Top 20 scariest horror movies you probably haven't seen. So pretty much the exact same title. I put Alice Sweet Alice in my thumbnail because it was the first thing I saw here. And I'm like, okay, cool. Alice Sweet Alice. I'll put that in my thumbnail. So I know that's going to be in here. Piercing. Okay. Oh, this is interesting. If you've seen Eyes of My Mother, which I have. Oh, this is another one of his movies. Interesting. So Eyes of My Mother is actually going to be talked about in my next video. So that's interesting. But I've not seen Piercing, nor am I actually familiar with it. So that's interesting. Let's see. Resolution. I think I've seen it. I've seen some of Justin Benson and Moorhead's movies. Yeah, I saw Resolution. I didn't see the sequel, The Endless, but I have seen Resolution. And I wasn't as big on it as a lot of people did. It's kind of like The Battery. It's super uneventful, super low budget. Not much happens. It's mostly just people talking. And there's some interesting stuff, and I respect that they did it on like pretty much no money. But I personally wasn't a big fan of it. Let's see. The Ritual. I don't feel like The Ritual belongs here because it's a Netflix movie. It made a pretty big splash when it came out. I think probably most horror fans have seen that one. Eden Lake, we actually just talked about that one. Probably belongs here because I personally never seen it. Although I do hear about it a good bit, but I've not seen it. Creep, I don't think that belongs here. I think Creep is probably a little bit too big. It's got a sequel. It's got a TV show based on it at this point. Horror fans talk about Creep all the time. I wouldn't put it on there. Yeah, person, what? The Ritual? Yeah, that's a pretty big Netflix movie with a budget and a fairly well-known director. I don't think it belongs on here. Okay, Eyes Without a Face. Yeah, I think that belongs there. I mean, considering one, it's French. Two, it's black and white. It's from the 60s. I would guess most horror fans probably have not seen Eyes Without a Face, but they should because it's awesome. I love With Eyes Without a Face. Great movie. Oh, okay, yeah, Death Dream was on the last list, and yeah, once again, I've not seen it. Look at that, Bone Tomahawk. I don't know, guys. Does Bone Tomahawk belong on a movies you probably haven't seen? May maybe it's okay. I'll allow it, but I feel like most horror fans have probably seen it at this point. Carnival of Souls. Maybe if only because it's black and white and it's not the Universal monsters. I almost think at this point, if it's in black and white and it doesn't have the Universal monsters in it, it's probably underseen. So yeah, I'll allow Carnival of Souls. But people should see Carnival of Souls, if only because all these ads are coming up. I kind of hate that. If only because it's in public domain, so it's available everywhere. Like you could see it anywhere you want. Pontypool. I'm gonna allow Pontypool. You know what's funny is I think I've seen Pontypool, but I don't really remember it, so I don't remember for sure. Autopsy of Jane Doe. I'm gonna say no. That movie. That's one of those movies. It's kind of like Frailty, the Bill Paxton movie Frailty. Anytime anybody wants to talk about like an underrated horror movie, they always say Frailty or The Autopsy of Jane Doe. And I'm like, at this point, I don't think they're underrated anymore. Like people talk about those movies a lot. But Autopsy of Jane Doe is another one that'll be talked about in a video very soon. So a lot of relevance to my videos. Kill List is back. Yeah, I think we allowed it last time, so I'll allow it. Alice Sweet Alice. Yeah, I think so. Because I only saw it for the first time within the past year, personally. I think it's still, like, not super well known. Yeah, so I'll allow that one. Okay, Inside, that was on the last list, too. And once again, I'll allow it. The Haunting. Okay, contrary to what I said before, I said, like, any black and white movie that doesn't have the Universal monsters could allow. Not The Haunting. The Haunting is super well known. It is, like, one of the most classic haunted house movies ever. It might be the most classic haunted house movie ever. So yeah, for sure. Oh, somebody says something interesting. I feel like these lists put in a few less obscure ones to make people feel like they're included. Also, not everyone who reads this list are us. Yeah, I know for sure. We're really just doing this for fun. We're just doing this as like an experiment just to, but I agree with you. I do think sometimes they would do that, and I think it makes sense to do that. Oh, somebody says if it has a remake, it can't be on the list. Yeah, I agree. Oh, yeah, for sure. And like for years, like ever since I've been like paying attention to horror movie talk on the internet, every time people are like, you know what's like the most underrated horror movie? Frailty. And I'm like, everyone says that. I think at this point, it is not underrated at all. Almost, if somebody told me Frailty is overrated, I might be like, maybe you might have a point there. Although it's probably not because it is a really good movie. The Invitation. Yeah, I think The Invitation belongs there. Interesting movie. Not one that I love as much as a lot of other people do, but it's interesting. And I do think it's still not super well known. Audition back. That was on the last one too. Session 9. Yeah, I accept Session 9 because I only saw it for the first time this year. Yeah, awesome movie. Possession, yes, still good. Good to have on there. Terrifier? Okay, when did this article come out? This had to have been years ago. Okay, it doesn't say a date. But like there's no way they put that on there in the past couple of years cuz like Terrifier is one of the most well-known modern horror things ever at this point. Yeah, it doesn't belong anymore, but maybe they put this out in like 2019 or something, in which case it would be okay. Matt, I disagree with taking it easy on this list. I'm officially putting Watch Mojo on Fraud Watch. Yeah, look, am I a Watch Mojo fan? No, because I'm not a fan of content that feels like soulless. It's just this professional voiceover giving very professional lines, and it doesn't feel like it's anybody's actually giving me opinions. So yeah, that's not my kind of thing. So I can't say I'm a big on Watch Mojo. I've never been a viewer of them. Ooh, I used to think Messiah of Evil was a super obscure film. It seems like a lot of folks talk about it anymore. Yeah, kind of. If Messiah of Evil was on here, I would allow it for sure. I think still a lot of people haven't seen it. Let's see. Okay, well, that was fun. That was a fun little thing. Let's remove that. Okay, let's see what people are saying in the chat. Like if it was artificially created. I don't don't think Watch Mojo does AI, if only because they've been doing this thing for so long. They've been doing it well before AI existed. So I think they're just a business, you know? They have professional writers that type out socially acceptable opinions, and they have a professional voiceover person that reads it out professionally, and they have professional editors make it as slick as possible, and that's all it is. You're not actually getting any people giving any real opinions. So if that's what you want, Watch Mojo's not for you. Let's see. I watched the Watch Mojo video of unknown 80s songs and real life Send Me an Angel was number one. Dude, from Rad. Iconic scene in Rad right there. Give me 2 random Vinegar Syndrome releases that I should buy. I don't own any and want to collect some. I'm an Arrow Scream Factory guy. 2. Okay. Let me grab a couple. All right, that was fun, right? How many people jumped off during that exciting period? Okay, so here we go. I feel like when I'm asked this, I often grab these. So maybe I should have tried to grab different ones. But I absolutely love Primal Rage. Incredibly fun 80s horror movie. It's a Rage Virus movie, so it predates 28 Days Later on Rage Virus. And it is just like real. It's college campus set slasher. Really likable characters, good gore and scares, and it has a Halloween party in it. It's great. The Devonsville Terror, huge fan of it, is a small town witchcraft movie, and it's very satisfying as a witch film, but also like has a good take on like the witch trial days, and like it has a bit of a twist on it. It's not just all just like witches are bad. And it's another one. It is a really good creepy small town vibe to it. And because I love my boy Paul Naschy, we got to shout out The Werewolf versus the Vampire Woman. Although I should have grabbed this. Hang on. That was kind of hard to pull out. Curse of the Devil. So speaking of Paul Naschy werewolf movies, they've released 2 at this point. So this one was on 4K, really good. Curse of the Devil is not quite as good as The Werewolf vs. the Vampire Woman, but it's pretty close. And it's a werewolf movie, but it's also a witch movie. And it's a pretty satisfying as that. So gotta shout out Paul Naschy. That's my Vinegar Syndrome picks. Let's see. Yeah, that's cool that it's on there. I first watched it on Shudder, and then I was telling a friend of mine how much I loved it, and he was like, well, I'm a Vinegar Syndrome subscriber, and I watched it and I thought it was okay, but I'll just go ahead and send you this because I don't really need it. So he just sent it to me. So that was very, very nice of him. Yeah, I would imagine Possession probably is. The thing, my take on Possession is, most movies are, the visuals are showing you what is happening in the story. And that's a typical way to do it. But I think Possession, what it's showing you is it's just trying to elicit emotions from you. And it's trying to make you feel how miserable the characters feel going through this divorce. So that's why, like, the guy that she's having an affair with is like just the weirdest dude ever. And you could say, like, what is with this performance? Why is he doing all this crazy stuff? But he's doing that because the director wants you to feel how Sam Neill feels when you talk to him. Like, this guy just sucks so bad. So that's just kind of one example. So it's a movie that's just trying to elicit emotions rather than it's trying to be what's realistic whatsoever. But I think it's a great movie. Oh, we got Eli in the house. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. I'm curious what the question. Oh, somebody said, am I the only one not getting audio and picture? I hope you're the only one. Yeah, maybe restart your computer or phone or something like that. Ooh, that means you're old school with Vinegar Syndrome because that is an old release. So respect to you. I'm curious what this is an answer to a question to. Someone said I'd go with Hardcore and Number One with a Bullet. Both good movies. Are those Oh, those are both released by Kino. Did somebody ask for Kino recommendations? I bet. If somebody did ask for Kino recommendations, I would second those. Those are good. Yeah, I only became familiar with What Culture Horror fairly recently based on my tab and my analytics for my channel of like what your viewers are watching. And I always see my viewers are watching What Culture Horror, so I tried it. It seems like a Watch Mojo thing. It just seems like it's professional writers writing acceptable things and then a professional voiceover records it and it's not like actual people. That's what it seems like to me. Let's see. I have seen Behind the Mask. I unpopular opinion on that one. I'm not a big fan of that movie. I just don't like the way it demystifies slashers so much. And it's just like, oh, Freddy and Jason and Michael, like they're just these guys that learned all these tricks and like magic stuff and like not actual magic, but like magician tricks to like seem like they're supernatural and blah, blah. And I just don't really like that, and I don't know. I don't like its commentary on slasher movies very much, I guess I'll say. What else do your viewers watch? So What Culture Horror, Horror Geek, as they should, AVA Pop Culture, Planet CHH, that's all I can think of. Oh, Cody Leach. So yeah, a lot of the other big horror YouTubers. Those are the ones that come to mind. That's cool. Yeah, I've only become aware of them fairly recently, and it seems like Watch Mojo to me. It doesn't seem like my kind of thing. I've not seen Attack of the Demons. That sounds crazy. Dude, yeah, Demon Wind is fun. It was almost going to be on a Bonkers Horror list recently, but it didn't end up getting on there, but it's a fun movie. Yeah, maybe it's because you're at work. I don't know. That's too bad, though. That's a bummer. Okay, let's see. Trying to scroll through. Ooh, here we go. Have you ever covered a list of Cthulhu themed films? See, that'd be tough because there's really not very many. I don't know if you guys know, but I don't know when it's going to come out. It was originally supposed to come out this year. There's so little news about it. I don't think it probably will be. But James Wan is working on an adaptation of The Call of Cthulhu. And if that happens, that's like my most anticipated movie because I would love to see that. But like, so there is the fan-made silent film version of The Call of Cthulhu, which I have talked on the channel and is interesting. And like for how that's another movie they made for like $10 and they did pretty good with it. There's Underwater. I can't think of any others for Cthulhu themed movies. Like there's really just not much out there. Let's see. Yeah, Dark Corners shows up sometimes. True. I'm kind of scrolling through and seeing if there's any other questions I haven't answered. Here you go. Do you own a Second Sight or Umbrella Blu-ray releases? They are the best distributors. Not really. I mean, they're overseas for me, so I have to pay extra to import. Second Sight in general isn't my thing because mostly what they do is release movies I already have, but they release them on fancier editions with thicker packaging, which isn't really worth it to me. I have one Second Sight because it was gifted to me. I have their Blu-ray of Extra, which is very old. And for Umbrella, I think I just have their old Blu-ray of The Blob, 1988 The Blob. But yeah, I don't have any of their big fancy thick releases at all. Let's see. Scrolling through looking for questions. Can you do a top 10 list of monster movies with actual monsters in them? No zombies or werewolves. So I'm not sure what you mean by actual monsters. Do you just mean like doesn't fit in another traditional camp like zombies, werewolves, vampires, but it's just like Pumpkinhead, just a monster? Yeah, I mean, I've done videos on monster movies like that, but I've never done like a top 10 all-time list. But yeah, I'm sure I'll get to that eventually for sure. Have you seen The Outwaters? It's a found footage mockumentary that goes absolutely bonkers. Ooh. Okay, I've heard of it, but I didn't know it was like mockumentary kind of thing. So now my interest is piqued even more. So I'm going to have to check that out for sure. Let's see. Man, we got over 200 people. We've had about 200 people like this whole time. So thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Ooh, Matt asked, have you seen The Quiet Earth? It's a New Zealand sci-fi film from the 70s. I really enjoyed it. I think you'd like it for how different it is. I've never heard of it. The Quiet Earth. I see it's from 1985. So that's interesting. Yeah, huh. I'll have to look into it. Thanks, man. Let's see. How dare you? You want to see Rambo as the villain? Rambo is the man. Come on. Member of the Cobwebs channel Coffee Club. Watching a new video is my favorite way to start the morning. Couple channel, good cup of Singapore coffee. Thank you so much. Well, I got a new video coming on Sunday morning, and it's going to be fun. Let's see. Yeah, I do need to see that for sure. I've not seen it yet. Yes, the new Frankenstein movie with Guillermo del Toro. Yeah, somebody messaged me and was like, are you going to do a video about that when that comes out, or is that too mainstream? No, I will absolutely do a dedicated video on del Toro's Frankenstein. 100%. So excited for that. We got Keith. Got to say what interested in your channel is watching videos about vampires. Oh, thanks, dude. Yeah, I love talking vampires. Love vampires. Let's see. I'm going to scroll back down the bottom, see what's going on now. No, I've seen The Buried Alive that Vinegar Syndrome put out, but that's a different movie. That's an 80s slasher. Actually, funny enough, I have that movie on VHS just because I found it like for free at a thrift store. And if I see a horror VHS tape, I will buy it. But yeah, I've not actually seen it yet. Have you done a top list of Friday the 13th movies to watch that day? No, I've not done like a list of Friday the 13th movies. There are some topics that I kind of stay away from because they're so commonly discussed that I feel like it's really not special if I do a video on it because, like, you know, the most dime a dozen thing a horror channel can possibly talk about is the Halloween franchise, the Friday the 13th franchise, the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. So sometimes I don't really do video codes dedicated to those things because I feel like it's just been done a million times. Maybe one of these days I'll rank the whole franchise. I do love the franchise for sure. And I've talked about them in other videos from time to time. But all that to say, my favorite Friday the 13th movie is without a doubt Part 4. Amazing movie. And then second, Part 2. Part 2 is great. What's your favorite Gothic style horror movie? Oh man. I mean, that's almost like my favorite subgenre. So I just love Gothic movies. I mean, Coppola's Dracula, huge fan of. The Hammer of Dracula, a lot of them, but the first one in particular. So like Dracula movies in general, the Hammer movies in general. I mean, you could just say I love Gothic horror films. For something a little bit more modern, Crimson Peak. I love Del Toro's Crimson Peak. No, I haven't. I've seen a lot of Adam Green stuff, but I've not seen Digging Up Tomorrow. Always been kind of curious about it though. Let's see. Always wanted to do that, a Western themed horror list. I've not seen enough to be able to do it. So I would have to watch more movies first. But yeah, I want to do it one of these days. Dracula, 1931, Bela Lugosi. That's my first horror movie. And what got me into horror was the Universal Monsters, for sure. That's interesting. Umbrella players, Blu-rays tend to freeze up on my player. That sucks. Oh, let's see. No, I did not. I still don't own Late Night with the Devil. I haven't bought it. But yeah, man, it's crazy how many physical media releases came out of that movie. I'm holding out hope that it'll get a brief theatrical release because sometimes Netflix stuff does go out to theaters for like a weekend. Like Glass Onion did. I think their Michael Bay movie that they did. So I hope it's not just going to Netflix. Maybe like just give me one weekend in theaters and I'll go see it. But yeah, if it's just going to Netflix, that's a shame. But also, most of my favorite movies I watch for the first time at home, so it'll be okay. But I would love to see it in the theater if possible. Not much for horror TV shows because I just don't have the time. I've watched so many movies to keep up with stuff. I don't really watch shows much. But I did watch Mike Flanagan's Haunting of Hill House and The Midnight Mass, and I thought both were incredible. I would say those are both the best horror TV shows I've ever seen. Let's see. No, because Scream is a slasher movie. It's a slasher movie. It talks about slasher movies as well, but it functions as a slasher movie. But Behind the Mask, like, it creates this world where none of the slashers are real and they're all just random guys that are putting on a bunch of tricks pretending to be slasher killers and are killing people. Yeah, but they're like, it's saying that movie says that like Jason Voorhees is not a boy who drowned in the lake and then came back. That movie says Jason Voorhees is just some guy who decided he wanted to put on a big show as a slasher killer. And I just don't like that. And I also just think the main actor he seems like Jim Carrey. He looks and acts like Jim Carrey. He's just so goofy. And I'm like, I don't like him as a slasher killer. I don't like him as the villain. So, I don't know. It's not really my thing. Oh, let's see. Yes, Jennifer. I did see The Ugly Stepsister and I loved it. I just did. If you like The Ugly Stepsister, you should definitely watch my video on top 10 fairy tale horror movies. I just did that a couple of weeks ago and I talked about The Ugly Stepsister in that and I loved it. That is a great movie. It is very messed up, but really well done. Really just beautifully made. Oh, cool. Yeah, I was so excited. I found out about that movie because Vestron put it out on Blu-ray. And when they put that on Blu-ray, I was like, oh my gosh, it's an 80s vampire teen movie I haven't seen. This is so exciting. And yeah, it's fun. It doesn't hold up to like Fright Night or Lost Boys or Vamp, but so it's underneath all those, but it's still fun. Yeah, Jennifer, it absolutely is amazing. Let's see. I could be wrong, but I don't think Behind the Mask is saying all the killers are fake. It's just saying the killers are part of an underground community with trades and tricks and stuff with each other. I guess, but I still don't like it. And I realize if anybody says like, well, that's a pretty dumb complaint, you should still enjoy the movie besides that. I agree, but I just don't enjoy the movie besides that. Even besides that, I don't know. I just don't enjoy that movie that much. And I just don't really like its meta commentary. Let's see. I feel like if they want Frankenstein to be considered for award season, it'll get some kind of theatrical release, which is a relief. Yeah, my guess is it will come to theaters for a weekend. I really think it will, but we'll see. Let's see. No, I did not. I mean, I haven't read a comic book in a very long time, so no, I didn't. Do you think it's best when Michael Myers is just pure evil or when his actions are explained? Honestly, both. I feel like it's always the same. It's kind of the same both ways. Because either way, he is pure evil. But then sometimes he's explained and sometimes he's not. And I just like the Halloween franchise for how weird it is. Like, okay, so the original is the best version of Michael Myers, for sure. But I like a lot of the weird sequels, too. And a lot of people get upset in about 2 that it makes Laurie his sister. Spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen Halloween 2. But I don't know. I think at that point, getting upset about that is like getting upset that Luke and Leia are siblings. Like, yeah, when it got revealed in Return of the Jedi that Luke and Leia are siblings, it was kind of out of nowhere. But at this point, it's so ingrained in the lore. It's a very important part of Star Wars. And I kind of think that way about Halloween, that like, yeah, maybe it's a little bit out of nowhere. John Carpenter regrets it, sure. But at this point, it's like so ingrained in that franchise that Michael and Laurie are siblings that, I don't know. I would never, I don't argue against that, you know? So I don't have a problem with Michael and Laurie being siblings at all. The Cult of Thorn stuff is really dumb, but I like it because I think it's like fun. But also when I watch the original Halloween, I don't keep the Cult of Thorn stuff in mind. You know, it's like this weird offshoot thing that I enjoy, even though it's ridiculous. Let's see. Do you think there would still be an audience for? Did I even answer that question? Yeah, I did. Okay, I was curious if I just went off on a tangent. Do you think there would still be an audience for movies like Fright Night today? Man, I miss those kind of movies. Yeah, horror comedies are pretty popular right now, and Fright Night's not. I don't consider Fright Night a pure horror comedy because I do think it's heavier on the horror than the comedy, but it's a little bit of a horror comedy. But also my whole life, anytime I show anybody Fright Night and it is the number one movie that I show people the most, people always like it. So it always hits. But yeah, there are a lot of just fun. Well, I'm thinking about it. You know what I wish? I think about this sometimes. I do wish there were more indie horror movies that were just trying to be fun. Because I feel like too often indie horror movies are really dark and dreary and they're about grief. And I kind of want, like, Beyond the Gates is one that I love. It's like a little indie horror movie that's just, it's fun, but it's not an overt comedy. That's what I'm trying to form my words around. I love horror movies that are fun, kind of light, but they're not overtly horror comedies. And that's what Fright Night is, and that's kind of what I want more of. So I guess we do need more movies like that now that I've fully processed it. So yeah, I think that is a good point. If I come across a horror film appreciating YouTube channel that doesn't cover anything made before 1980, I pass it by. I can understand, and that's a lot. That's a lot. But I do like some channels that pretty much just cover new stuff, but I just accept that. I'm like, this is the channel where I learn about new stuff, and that's okay. Yeah, there are a lot of movies called Buried Alive for sure. See, your top Friday the 13th movies are 2, 1, and 6. You're not even putting 4 in there? Dude, what are you doing? No, that is a good top 3 though, but I got to put 4 at the top. Let's see. Ooh, we got Secular Stranger. We got a good profile picture there. Glad I found your awesome channel, dude. I can watch videos for hours. Much love on type of scary movies. Have you seen Night Dreams? Some very scary scenes. I don't think I have seen Night Dreams. Let me look this one up. Thank you for the kind words, by the way. Okay, I don't think that's pulling up any movie stuff. 1981 film. Oh, it looks like kind of an erotic horror movie. Oh, interesting. Okay. Let's see. Somebody said Del Toro's Frankenstein is going to theaters along with Netflix, but I don't know how wide and how long. Good. I figured it would. That's good to hear. Let's see. I like Laurie B. Michaels' sisters, to be honest. I think that's the best explanation. Yeah, I mean, it's, like I said, like, with so many of the sequels, it's so ingrained in the storytelling of the whole franchise that, like, I don't see how you argue against it. Like, it is, maybe you didn't like it in 1981, but now it's just a bedrock of the franchise. Which is why I think it's dumb when they took that away in the David Gordon Green movies. Like, they even made a dumb line about throwing it away. Like, I think it's like if you made a Star Wars reboot and it's like, well, this time Luke and Leia are its siblings. You can't do that anymore. It's part of the franchise. You need to accept it. Anyway. Yeah, there are quite a bit of meta horror movies before Scream. Yeah, Scream is not the first meta horror movie, but it is the one that made it really cool and popular, for sure. But yeah, there are lots of meta horror movies before it. Let's see. I always like your non-horror list of older films. Not sure if you're planning anything new with that topic. Yeah, I do them from time to time. It's just so hard to tell when people want to watch them, because, like, I did one on 80s cult classics, and it did amazing. Tons of people watched it and enjoyed it. Then I just recently did one on 60s cult classics, and it bombed worse than anything I've done in the past year. Like, holy cow, it bombed so hard, which I was really surprised about. So it's kind of hard to tell, like, you know, it's not that I'm all about views and numbers, but I do want to make videos that people want to watch. And with that 60s cult classics, it became clear that, like, the vast majority of my subscribers do not want to watch that video, which was pretty surprising. So yeah, but I do like to do those videos, and I'm sure I will still sprinkle them in from time to time. Also, the list on 70s exploitation movies, which wasn't horror specific, that video did quite well as well. Do you think the main horror franchises should have a proper final film, or would you rather them continue indefinitely? Honestly, I'll take continue indefinitely for real. Like, I'll always take a new Halloween movie, a new Friday the 13th movie, a new Nightmare on Elm Street movie. They don't all have to be great, and that's fine. I think a lot of times people put way too much pressure on these new movies to like be amazing. But like, I'm also like, guys, think back. Halloween 5 was not amazing, but we like it because it's part of the franchise. Nightmare on Elm Street 5, I'm just using fives for some reason, was not amazing, but we like it because it's part of the franchise. So like, I don't put too much pressure on new slasher sequels, you know, like they can like let them be what they are and I'll accept them as part of the franchise. So yeah, I'll always take a new Halloween Freddy movie for sure. I'll for sure take a new Freddy or Friday movie because we haven't had one in forever. I think it's particularly terrible that there hasn't been a Nightmare on Elm Street movie in so long, because I think we're living in a perfect time for a great Nightmare on Elm Street movie. Like, what Nightmare on Elm Street does best is very popular right now, and they should be capitalizing on it, but they're not. And I think that's terrible. It is ridiculous. It is. And that was actually, I thought it was terrible the first time I saw it, that aspect of it. But at this point, I just don't really care anymore. But it is ridiculous. Okay, I don't know if Cult of J is joking or not. It's very upsetting that Luke and Leia are siblings. Come on, what are you talking about? Is it because they kissed in the first movie? Sort of. Actually, they kissed in Empire Strikes Back too, but neither were a romantic kiss. But yeah, maybe that's what you mean. George Lucas had a whole other plan for Star Wars. The three Timothy Zahn books were the original plan post Return of the Jedi. He also had a plan for a third trilogy that like was literally about the midichlorians, like as sentient beings, and like took place in the microscopic world of the midichlorians. And I gotta say, with all love to George Lucas, I do not think that is a good idea. I think it's for the best he didn't do that. So yeah, George Lucas, he had a lot of wild ideas for sure, and most of them are great because Star Wars is awesome. Halloween 2 Hospital is kind of comfy. I'll take it. Yeah, I'll watch it. I love it. It's great stuff. Thank you, Robert. I appreciate that. Yes, I have seen Stoker. Let's see. That's from a Korean director. It's not Bong Joon-ho. It's the other big Korean director. I can't remember his name. But yeah, but it's not a Korean movie from what but yeah, it's got Nicole Kidman, Mia Wasikowski. What is that guy's name? He shows up at the end of Abigail. But yeah, that is a good movie. That's an interesting, like, gothic thriller, kind of a horror movie. Good vibes. Have not seen The Last Will and Testament of Rosalind Lee. You must. Okay. I don't think I've heard of it. Interesting call out. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, I liked Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. I didn't love it, but I thought it was fun. The final moment of that movie is like so ridiculous, and I enjoyed it. It was pretty funny. I've seen like half of Studio 666 and I got interrupted and I never went back to it. Too bad. Let's see. That's a good point. Yeah, Haddonfield, they're probably not paying much for their hospital. I get it. Okay, William, we're passing 2 hours. I'm going to scroll through, see if there's any other questions I have to answer. We'll probably be wrapping up soon. Let's see. I've not seen Nightwish. What movie are you hankering to rewatch right now? For some reason, I've been wanting to rewatch the newest Evil Dead and don't know why. Interesting. Rewatch is the question. Like, what movie am I hankering to rewatch? I don't know. It's hard for me to think about rewatches when they're not for the channel at this point, but like just for fun. I don't know. I'll tell you for not rewatch, I want to catch back up with the Mission Impossible series because I love the Mission Impossible series, but since I've been doing this channel, I've just had limited time for like action blockbusters and such. So I haven't seen the newest Mission Impossible and I haven't seen the one before it. And I really want to, I want to get back on that franchise because I love those movies. Oh yeah, Ghost of Mr. Chicken is super fun. That's a good comfort movie. Yeah. I don't think that's a hot take. Yeah, dark comedies. Good stuff. Let's see. Elizabeth, that is a question from my friend Garrett at Born to be Rad. I've never seen that, but I'm positive Garrett loves it. Will you consider doing a rock and roll horror list? Yes. I need to watch more first because, like, I haven't seen Rocktober, Blood, or Black Roses. So I've got some more I need to see. But, like, yeah, I mean, Trick or Treat 86, love that movie. That probably topped the list. Deathgasm is really fun. And yeah, there's probably some others I need to remind myself of. But yeah, I'd have to see some first. Oh, let's see. Thank you, Spooch. I appreciate it. I enjoyed making that video. Oh, let's see. Thanks, Brian. I'm not sure what you mean regardless. Regardless of what. But thanks. What if you did 2000s horror or thriller or cult B movies that are worth watching? Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm totally open to those. I have like a zillion videos that I will never run out of video ideas. That's for sure. I have so much I want to do. Oh yeah, WNUF is great. I got the sequel to it on Blu-ray from TerrorVision, and I'm looking forward to watching it this Halloween season. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. It was a shock the day I posted. I was like, what's going on with the numbers? Like nobody's watching this. Very weird. I mean, the video still did okay. Like especially like, you know, I don't want to sound ungrateful or anything, but it's just way below my normal videos, so it was just kind of surprising. Thanks, Eli. I appreciate that. I wouldn't say I'm into them, but I've seen some good ones. I like The Towering Inferno because I'm a big Steve McQueen fan in particular. I like The Poseidon Adventure, but I probably haven't seen most of them. But those are the two that come to mind. Let's see. Okay, I'm glad you asked this because I have a strong opinion about this. They should absolutely recast. And I think that's the biggest problem. I wonder if that's the biggest problem that's holding up new Nightmare on Elm Street movies is they're just afraid to recast. I think movies in general today are too scared to recast. And recasting used to be normal. Like, we accepted that Roger Moore was James Bond, even though Sean Connery wasn't James Bond anymore. But I think if James Bond was new today, if Daniel Craig was the first James Bond, they would never recast him. And I think that sucks because that means the James Bond franchise would be so short and it wouldn't be this ongoing thing. But yeah, Robert Englund is amazing. He will always be the greatest Freddy Krueger, but you can find someone else. I promise you can find someone else who will do a great job. Like find someone who's kind of an unknown, creepy, gangly guy, put him in some makeup. He'll do a great job. I'm sure they can find someone. And yes, do it. Don't kill this franchise just because Robert Englund is retired. So I like David Gordon Green's first Halloween movie. I kind of love Halloween Ends because it's insane and weird. And I actually think there's a lot of things about it that are actually really good. It is a mess. Totally acknowledge it. But I do quite like it. I just don't like Halloween Kills. I think Halloween Kills is boring because it has like no plot. It's just Michael going around killing people and it's just not enough. And there's truly some of the worst dialogue I've ever heard is in Halloween Kills. So not a big Kills fan, but I do like the first one. I do like Ends. Yeah, I know, right? He's a wild guy for sure. What do you think of POV type horror films where cameras in the perspective of the killer? I can't think of any that are entirely from the killer's POV. I mean, there are killer POV scenes in like Halloween and from almost every giallo ever made. But if you're talking about a movie that's entirely from, In a Violent Nature, I guess In a Violent Nature, and I really like that movie. So that would be one. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Yep. Park Chan-wook and Matthew Goode. Yes, absolutely. Those were the names I was forgetting. Let's see. Thank you, Ian. I really, really appreciate that. Yes, he did do Thirst. Oh, yeah, and The Handmaiden. The Handmaiden is a pretty darn interesting movie. That movie's wild. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Devil's Candy totally could. Yeah, I love the Devil's Candy. It's so great. Oh, okay, cool. John Wick 4 is awesome. So you were in a treat with John Wick 4. My take on John Wick is I love the first John Wick. I actually wasn't a big fan of 2 and 3. I know a lot of people love them. For some reason, they didn't do it for me. But then 4, I came back, and 4 I thought was great. It's crazy that it's a 3-hour action movie, but somehow it works. Thank you. Thank you. Official Scream Queen. Thank you very much. Let's see. Thanks, Colin. I appreciate that. We need a new Nightmare film with a new actor, but I prefer if it's stuck to a serious and scary tone like the original. Oh, yeah, I agree. And I think they will. When I saw the new It movie with Bill Skarsgård, I thought this is the time to make a new Nightmare on Elm Street movie because that felt like it was a Nightmare on Elm Street type thing and it worked so well. And I was like, it's time. And they just didn't do it. Yeah. There's not a lot, but there are some. There's enough to do a top 10 at least. I've already made like the list. I just need to watch a bunch of them. Yeah, yeah. I mean, he totally could. Yeah, that's practically what he was doing. The funny thing is, like, there's so many homages to Nightmare on Elm Street today because Nightmare on Elm Street is popular, but they're just not doing anything with the real franchise. And that whole season was such an homage to Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm like, why aren't we doing the real thing? Crazy. Yeah, Matt's with me. Yeah. Ends is a nutty movie, but I like the weird Halloween movies. That's one thing I love about the Halloween franchise is it's so like up and down and there's all these weird tangents. So like I think the weirdest Halloween movies are 3 and 6 and Ends, and I like all of them a lot. I haven't yet. I cancel we canceled our Netflix subscription for a long time because there's just nothing we wanted to watch on there. But I just recently re-upped it to watch something else also. But now I'm gonna watch Prom Queen because like everybody's saying it's so bad, but like it's an 80s style slasher, so I have a hard time believing I'm gonna hate it because that's just the kind of thing I like. But maybe I will hate it. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, let's see. Oh, that's right. Maniac remake. I have seen that. That is a very good movie. That's a pretty disturbing movie, but that is a very good movie. I totally forgot about that one. You could also almost, this is back to the question about like movies entirely from the killer's point of view. You could put Angst in there as well, which isn't like directly from the point of view, but like follows the killer the entire time. And that's a pretty interesting movie. I'm guessing you're talking about Prom Queen. It's a chill time. Cool. I'll take a chill time. That sounds good. You know, I saw my boy Drum Dums recently put out, he's another horror YouTuber. He put out a poll on like of all the Texas Chainsaw Massacre rights that are going on and like all the people are trying to get it, who do you most want to get it? I thought they all looked like good options. So like I think the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise is probably going to go to a good place. I'd be down with Sheridan getting it for sure. I saw Glenn Powell kind of wanted it. Glenn Powell seems cool. He's a Texan guy. He'd probably do a good job with it. There were some other people too, but I thought all the options seemed good. So yeah, I have no worries about the future of TCM. Let's see. Prom Queen is going to be so camp. Can't wait to watch it. Yeah. Dude, oh, you should not feel guilty about loving Hello Mary Lou Prom Night 2 because it's great. And Prom Night 3 might be even better. Prom Night 3 is awesome. I'm guessing you're talking about the 2003 Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake. I don't like it either. I saw it once, did not care for it. I don't think it's near as good as the original. The further we get from Ends and we forget how it was marketed as a final Laurie v. Michael showdown, I think more will be embraced. Yeah, and I was kind of set up well to like the movie because I did not like the marketing. And when the marketing was just like showdown, Laurie versus Michael, I was like, I do not want to watch. I'm sorry, but I do not want to watch a movie about 60-year-old Jamie Lee Curtis doing a smackdown fight with Michael Myers. Like that sounds bad. I don't want to watch that. And then when I watched it and it turned out to have like this very odd plot and like this like Christine kind of thing and this teen romance and this like tortured guy in the town. I was like, this movie's really interesting. Like I'm like really into this story. I think the movie kind of falls apart when Corey exits the movie. I like it as a Corey movie. And then when they take out Corey, I'm like, David Gordon Green, you chickened out. Like you had something really interesting and you chickened out. And that's too bad. But it may not have been his fault. He was probably forced by the studio, to be honest. Um, No, but I did watch one old black and white vampire western. Did we talk about it on your podcast? We talked about it on your podcast, didn't we? What is that movie called? The vampire western. I think it was the first episode we did of your podcast. But yeah, that movie's fun. Good night, Spooch. Thank you so much for dropping by. Yeah, that franchise does not die. It just keeps going. I actually like the Netflix one. I mean, it's silly, but it delivers in a short amount of time, and I appreciate that. Yeah. Okay. All right. I really appreciate all of you guys. I'm going to go ahead and tap out for the night, but thank you for dropping in, chatting with me, asking your questions. It's been a good time. Come back to the channel on Sunday because I'll be posting a video on some scary horror movies and it's going to be fun. So thank you very much. I'll talk to you later. Bye.